Terry, it looks like we're live and we are recording. So I want to welcome you, my friend, Terry Combs, colleague, my partner in crime. I'm pretty fired up for our event, Falling in Love with DTG Printing. I have fallen in love with this idea and it's been a long time coming. So I'm glad to be here this morning. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, Jay, and very, very excited about this event. We've been talking about doing something like this for a long time with you and I talking, with you and I interviewing some folks, and at the same time having a live in-person event over in Franklin Lakes, New Jersey. And as you can see on the screen there, there's some folks milling about, checking things out, and so a little bit of us, a little bit of live demos from New Jersey, a little bit of interviews, Jay.
I know, it's so cool. So for those of you who have tuned in already, thank you for joining us. Thanks for all the shout outs, folks from Georgia and everywhere. We're grateful that you're here. Lots of people tuning in. We've got what's going on is you'll see our screen right now and you should see Terry and myself, and then you're going to see Roy's also monitoring the chat. And so if there are any questions or chat, Roy's over there doing an amazing job. We're so glad that he could just tune in. We do like to get him on camera all the time. However, in this setting, he's going to be our ace in the hole. So Terry, this is a big deal because we really do have two simultaneous events going on. We have this video session / online session, feels like a webinar, but at the same time, we're going to stop and pause at 1:30 Eastern time and be able to watch the demo as it starts live in New Jersey, like you said. So kind of fired up. Forgive me for having that nervous little kid energy, but it's going to be a good role here. So what else should we know about this? You and I have some time here together. We've got a bunch of participants listening into us. What are we going to say for the next 20 minutes?
Well, I feel like, Jay, that we should be asking for contributions to your local PBS station with our setup here.
Oh my goodness, that's pretty funny. Well, we're not. We need to be grateful for the participants who've tuned in. Thank you for spending your afternoon with us. We have special guests coming on board, so it's a big deal. So how about we do this? Why don't we tell folks a little bit about us for those who are maybe new or tuned in for the first time? And then maybe, Terry, you could also give us a little background on Equipment Zone. Is that a good idea?
Yeah, absolutely. And Jay, real quick, so that we won't move over it too quickly, you mentioned Roy is in the chat answering questions, and Roy is one of our top technicians and trainers. So whatever questions that come to mind, especially as the demos are taking place, if you have questions about that, Roy's going to be there at the keyboard, ready to answer your questions for you.
And it's good. Thank you for reminding me again that he may want to take the conversation offline too with you individually. So if you're into a specific, really, hyper local issue, something that's just for you and your printer, Roy will let you know, and he'll be monitoring that and checking in, and he can take that conversation online or even start a tech ticket. So yeah, thank you. And that's what I meant by he's our ace in the hole, because we've done enough of these webinars where we know that you and I start going off on tangents and talking and bantering back and forth. And not only that, I've got to keep one eye on the schedule, one eye on my phone, and then try to engage with you and the other guests. So I'm not distracted. If you see me looking down or looking over, it just means that I'm trying to keep control of all of this. But truth be told, let's do it. We're fired up. So I'll start, if that's cool, and do a little bio on me, and then you go. So I've been lucky enough to be on the island of Misfit Toys for apparel decorators and promotional products folks and sign folks, and kind of wandered back and forth through all three camps. I like to call them my dysfunctional cousins. But true to my heart, what makes my heart hum and my soul sing is apparel decoration. So I found my way back to Equipment Zone, and been lucky enough to have some other projects going on. But as of very recently, I'll be here full time for a while, and fired up because I get to work with you and hopefully bring on some more great folks. So I'm the marketing guy. Most people know me as the marketing director or director of marketing. I don't really care about the title, but just so you know, I know the least about the equipment compared to people like Roy and Terry and others. And so, I get to try to figure out how to create these crazy ideas, bring them to life, and share them with you folks. So for us, if you haven't figured out one of our pillars, what's kind of one of our bedrocks, is the fact that we believe strongly in the service before, during, and after the sale. And a lot of folks can talk the talk before the sale, and then you kind of see them poof, disappear. It's like smoke after the sale. We're just the opposite. What we do is we want to make sure that we're growing with you. We want to earn your business for the long haul. And so that's why you'll get to know all of us as either a trainer or a technician or just a good guy, hopefully, or a good gal. So we've got a wonderful staff in New Jersey that you're going to see. But yeah, that's pretty much my story about 30 plus years now. I think I was 16 when I printed my first shirt. I was an old screen print kid. And now I'm a new DTG kid. How about that, Terry?
That's excellent. You know, Jay, my story kind of intertwines a bit with Equipment Zone. You know, if anybody's ever been to one of my screen printing classes, you've heard me say this. Armed with my degree in journalism from Ohio University, I accidentally became a screen printer, and that came from my college job at the college bookstore there in Athens, Ohio, and really, like a lot of people, I started out as screen printing as I'm going to kind of do this while I pursue my journalism. But over here in garment decorating, anybody who's not involved already, turn off your computer now, because once you're in, you never leave. And you know, Jay, the reason for that, I believe, is it's like any other business. You deal with employees and you deal with shortages, especially right now, and you deal with issues. But at the end of the day, you're still creating something. At the end of the day, that shirt comes off your printer and you say, man, that's really cool. I can't wait to do this again. And that's the beauty of the garment decorating industry. So I started a screen printing business out of college. I sold that business after a few years to one of my competitors who wanted my customers, and moved on to bigger and larger production floors, running screen printing shops around the country. Jay, about 18 years ago, Scott Fresner, who wrote the How to Print T-Shirts for Fun and Profit book.
Oh, yes. Classic.
The book I used to start my business.
I've got one right here in my drawer, Terry. It's right here.
Back before there were classes and things like that. And certainly
you actually had to read a book.
Exactly. You read the book and you tried it and you looked at the book and, okay, that's going to work. But I ran into Scott, and he invited me to move to Phoenix, and I began teaching the screen printing classes at the U.S. Screen Printing Institute. Well, if anybody knows Scott Fresner or the U.S. Screen Printing Institute, that's where the TJET came from, the very first one of the first 3 direct-to-garment printers. And I remember seeing that machine print, 16, 17 years ago.
Yeah, wow.
And saying to Scott, the industry just changed, didn't it? And he goes, I think it did. And so here's the tie into Equipment Zone. Equipment Zone was one of my customers at U.S. Screen Printing Institute, because not only did I teach the classes, but I was in the sales department, and Equipment Zone became the #1 reseller of TJET direct-to-garment printers in the world. And so Equipment Zone's been involved in direct-to-garment printing from the very first day. And now I'm going to be stuck thinking, man, what was it, 8 years ago? The folks at Epson approached Equipment Zone and said, hey, we have this new direct-to-garment printer, and would you be interested in being one of our resellers of that equipment? So Equipment Zone was one of the 6 original resellers of the Epson F2000 direct-to-garment printer. And Jay, that brings us to today.
Oh my gosh, what a great story. And I thought you were going to start pulling out the calculator and doing the time of how many years. And so don't do that. Don't do that. Well, let's do this. Let's touch on our facilities. As you can see in the one of the corners, you should be able to see some milling around by some folks in our New Jersey office. So Terry, maybe you could tell us a little bit about what's going on with that and where we are in our locations and what we do.
Yeah, what you can see on the screen there is the showroom at our Franklin Lakes, New Jersey location. And for anybody who's thinking, Franklin Lakes, where have I heard of that? The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Franklin Lakes, New Jersey.
Well, wasn't that the first one? Wasn't that the first one that kicked off all those shows?
I've never seen any of
I
them.
know, neither have I. We're useless when it comes to the Housewives of wherever.
Sure. For anybody who doesn't know, Franklin Lakes is about 30 minutes outside of New York City. So basically, that whole area are suburbs of the New York City area. We're about 30 minutes from the George Washington Bridge. So we're actually north of New York City there, the northern point of New Jersey. That facility, a very large facility where we have two F-3070s. We have a couple of F-2000, or I'm sorry, F-2100s. We've got a Vastex conveyor dryer, a very, very large format one you can see there, heat presses. We have other machines as well, solvent printers and things like that. But our real focus in the industry and what we're known for in the industry is direct-to-garment printing. And Jay, also there in that facility, down below that second level showroom right there. And yes, all that equipment was brought up to a second level. Back behind that wall there, a very big double door that's about 2.5 stories up. So every time they open it up, I back up a little bit.
Yeah, I know. When I saw him loading up one of those big printers, I was like, whoo, better than me.
I do not want to be under that. But down below is the manufacturing facility where the Speed Treater TX is built. And right this very minute, they're down there building away because, Jay, in this environment, in this, when a lot of companies were laying people off, or a lot of companies were sending people home, businesses like ours, Jay, they boom because first of all, I've been laid off. I need to make some money. Second of all, I'm working from home. This is a great opportunity for me to start that side gig because I've always wanted to print T-shirts. I've always wanted to do something creative. I
had this great idea for a joke shirt.
I've got a great idea. I have the greatest T-shirt idea of all time. But so businesses like this boom. I teach screen printing classes, Jay, and every time there's an economic downturn, there's a waiting list to get into screen printing class because, and Jay, I think part of it is people want to control their own destiny. I got laid off from a job that I'd been doing for 20 years. There's no security anywhere in the world. I'm going to make my own security, and I'm going to start my own business. And so, long story short, too late for that. The Speed Treater TX is down there. As fast as we build them, we're shipping them out to door. Now we're on schedule, but they're not gathering dust.
That's 100% correct. And I think I love the fact that you're able to share some of that. It's a tribute to Equipment Zone and our fearless leader and president, Harry Oster, and his vision for recognizing the need to be in that space and to have a pre-treatment device. Because in the beginning, as you know, it was pretty much, it was the wild, wild west. I mean, there was some crazy application methods being bantied around the internet. So for us to be one of the first, and I believe the first, and pioneering that automatic pre-treatment machine was a big deal. So it's a feather in our cap. We're proud of it, and it's a workhorse. It's built to last. So yes, we do manufacture and have a full-on facility underneath our amazing Solution Center showroom. But you know what I'm impressed with is during the pandemic, we really kind of had to shift a little bit in the way we do things, because we used to pride ourselves, Terry, if you remember, back in the day, the Wayback Machine, about 18 to 24 months ago, we used to send a technician out to every installation. They would be on site for 3 to 6 hours, depending on what the client needed. So imagine that an Epson F2100 shows up, and then one of our technicians flies from wherever and sets with you for a day, give you training, give you setup and the whole thing. So what happens? Well, like we all know, we had kind of a little bit of a shutdown, and we had to, I'm going to use the word pivot. We had to realign our opportunity with the current situation. And so we really went all in on this idea of being able to remotely show people, train people, teach people. And so thank goodness for folks like Roy and the rest of our technicians who were able to master that. So with Zoom and with video cameras from several angles, we're able to do these things all the time now, and we don't have to travel all over the country. So people are actually, I have heard many times over, they feel very comfortable with the fact that they're getting as much training as they need with one-to-one service. And the fact that somebody's doing it remotely really doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, Jay, and the assumption I think with some people is, well, all you're doing is turning on your phone and pointing it at yourself while you're doing this. No, we basically built two studios, one in New Jersey, one in Arizona, to do these trainings. So as you mentioned, multiple camera angles, and this isn't 12 customers getting a training at once. It's you and a technician, and that technician is talking directly to you doing that training. And so you're going back and forth. You're getting your questions answered. Maybe you say, you know what, I'm a Photoshop expert. We can coast past this part. And so we'll spend a little more time on this part over here, but it's definitely a one-on-one situation. As you said, multiple camera angles. Now, we do have to give people the heads up that in both of our facilities, more in our New Jersey facility, you do need to schedule an appointment to come in for a live demonstration, because we're working around that same equipment that we're using. Those same technicians are also doing these trainings. A little more open for the folks in New Jersey, because they have that New Jersey facility is a very, very large facility. So at one end, there can be a training going on, and the other end, there can be a live demonstration. But we're a little bit more compact in Phoenix, but Phoenix facility is just a showroom, just a training facility. So, and Jay, looking forward to the day where we're right now today, we're half in person and half virtual.
Yes.
And we've certainly done many in-person events in New Jersey, in-person events in Arizona, and we're making that slow transition back to having a live audience in the room with us. So.
Absolutely. And thank you, Roy, for dropping that in the chat. I was just going to say, one of the other things that we've done over the 16, 18, 24 months, as we've really dove deep into training, and we tried to provide our customers and future customers with a lot of advice, a lot of actual step-by-step instructions, tutorials. Some are like overviews and some are like deep dives. So please visit our YouTube channel and subscribe. I know it sounds like I'm selling our YouTube channel. I'm a used car guy trying to, hey, and if you do this, there's more. But there's a lot of really good interviews, a lot of good information. We're not just doing this to try to sell you something. We're trying to do this to help you grow your business. So for those of you who've tuned in, thank you for paying attention to this point. This is really just our setup before we get going here in about 15 minutes. We're going to have, actually less than that, we're going to have our first live demonstration and go back and forth between the two main printers. Both printers, as most people know, the brand is Epson. Epson is our sole printer and our partner of choice. To be kind of loud and proud about it, we don't sell any other printers. And that's not true of all of the others that are out there, Terry. I think that's right. A point of distinction, don't you?
Well, I do too, Jay. And not only that, we are about 95% direct to garment as well. So when you call in and you talk to a technician, obviously specific to direct to garment, but also when you talk to somebody in order entry, when you talk to anybody who answers the phone at Equipment Zone, all DTG people. So and nothing against any other reseller out there, but some resellers sell embroidery equipment, some sell automatic screen printing equipment, some sell solvent printers, all variety of decoration. We are probably the only DTG specific seller of our size in the industry. We are Epson's #1 reseller of direct to garment printers. The #1 reseller, by the way, Jay, of the F3070, the large format industrial direct to garment printer as well.
Well, congratulations to the team. I don't want to dislocate my shoulder trying to pat myself on the back, but what I do want to say is it's a growth industry. And I think the other thing to remember for those of you listening in is the e-commerce boom is here for our industry. So Terry, what's that saying you always say, we live in an Amazon world, or I can't remember how you phrase it.
Oh yeah, I want one, I want it custom, but I want it now. That's the Amazon world we live in, or Skynet as I like to call them, because when the machines take over, it will be Amazon.
They're not taking over yet, and so thank goodness we're still here. But this idea of personalization, we're going to touch on the idea of e-commerce. We're not going to dive deep on e-commerce, but I just want people to be aware of. They are probably aware. I'm not talking down to you, but I just want to make sure that you understand you're at the crossroads of really good timing. So digital printing, Yes, we are huge fans and all in on DTG printing, but don't be too surprised if you talk to Roy and he gets excited about dye sublimation, or you talk to Amy and she gets excited about solvent printing and doing stickers or decals. So we all have our little flares, and we are very capable of talking that talk as well. But today's event is all about DTG printing, specifically the Epson F2100 and the Epson F3070. We want to make sure that this does not come across as a commercial. We want to make sure that you can get the value that you need. Roy's just checking in on something. I don't know what he's doing over there. So he got my attention for some reason.
Well, Jay, I'm wearing my 17.
He wanted me to say, and don't forget DTF. Well, of course, we're not going to forget about direct to transfer, direct to film. Today. Yes, it's definitely going to be one of our highlights and one of our demonstrations. So we're about 8 minutes out before we get started in our first demonstration. But Terry, sorry, I cut you off before Roy was flashing.
I was just going to make a little joke. You were talking about flare, and I was going to say I'm wearing my 17-piece minimum number of flare pieces, and comment on that movie reference in the in the comments.
Well, you stumped me, so I hope somebody knows what's going on. Here's
the flare.
So, okay. So just to be clear, we do live demos in New Jersey and in our offices here. I happen to be in the office in Tempe. Terry is in his home office. That is not, by the way, a green screen behind him. That is actually his office. He is well read. Don't be surprised if he goes off on a tangent about Abraham Lincoln or something deep like that. But,
right.
So what about the expectations for today? What should we know, Terry?
Well, a lot of things are happening today. We have 3 live demos that are happening directly from the offices there in New Jersey. And we have worked to coordinate our times, because they have a separate event going on at the exact same time as us right now. So hopefully we will be able to come together for those 3 live demos. We're also going to be talking with Jason Murphy from SanMar about the supply chain. And that is the topic of the day around the world, isn't it?
Yeah, well, nice to have an expert who knows a little something about that. And he's a decoration expert. So we've got kind of really the best of both worlds with Jason.
And Jason, back in the TJet days, he was the DTG guy as well. So
isn't that Jason funny how we circle back all together? We're like, are we on a clown car ride? Is that what I just made reference to? No,
we are. There's no getting out. We take every exit comes back to the same place. But we're also going to be interviewing Adrian Palmer from Screen Printing Magazine. And Adrian, I'm really excited about this. Jay, I'll let you talk a little bit about her subject matter, but Adrian has really brought Screen Printing Magazine back to garment decorating. So excited about that. But do you want to talk a little bit about that interview?
Oh yeah, I am definitely excited about that. Adrian is, we've gotten to know each other at a few events, so I would definitely consider a friend of mine at this point, but I like the work that they're doing. And we've been longtime readers of all of the industry publications. There's great work at Impressions. There's great work at Graphics Pro. Don't get me wrong, but it's been fun to see Screen Printing kind of stepping up and embracing digital, because think of the title of their magazine, Screen Printing Magazine. So why would they want to know more about digital or be involved with digital or partner with us on projects like this? So it's because they know and they recognize that there is a merge going on. There is a blend of both. Neither is going to take over, but the nimble, the business owner and the shop that can incorporate both is probably going to be the strongest. And as you know, the strong will survive. And the reason I'm excited to have her on, Terry, as I flip my page of notes, is because of the data that they recently did. They did a survey, and she's going to tell us more about that survey. But really cool information, like why are people buying DTG printers, or who is buying DTG printers. And so they've done a lot of information, and they're going to share that with us today. And she's just smart and funny and significantly more attractive than the two of us. Let's just be honest.
And Jay, let me add, me, when I got into this industry, armed with my degree in journalism from Ohio University, Adrian as well. Ohio.
Oh, are you kidding me? Did I not know that? Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Now I'm going to have to.
Bobcats.
No, I don't know. Now I'm suspect. No, I don't know for sure. Well, listen. So we're moments away, Terry, as we get ready in New Jersey. About 4 minutes out, 5 minutes out now on my clock. So why don't we kind of set up what we're going to see first, and maybe you can give us some more information about, if you want, what's going to happen in this first demonstration.
Well, next we're going to have Omar and Tim, two of our techs there in New Jersey, basically doing an introduction of the F2100 and the F3070 for anybody who are not familiar with one or the other of these machines. And basically, it's a here's this direct-to-garment option and these direct-to-garment printers and how they work. And obviously, this is going to be a great opportunity for people to ask questions of Roy in the chat as we're going along. But we're going to start with a bit of an overview, Jay, of the machines.
Perfect. And guess what? We're also going to have another rock star. One of our colleagues, Amy Krulowitz, will be there. And Amy will be more or less narrating as Omar and Tim are quote doing the work. But Amy's got a lot of interesting. She's also in New Jersey as well, and that's where she lives and works. But she's got a great background. I mean, she's been involved in the industry for over 25 years as well. So I'm bragging on our folks because when I started preparing for this, I started thinking about you and Roy and Jeff Baxter and Amy, and of course, Roy I've already mentioned, but all of the techs. I mean, if you added up all of that experience, I mean, I don't have the calculator out, but it's over 100 years for sure, right?
Well, let's see. I started in 1979. So yeah, I think I have a big slice of that 100 years that.
Well, I wasn't referring to it in that way. Let's be real. But what I was trying to say was that the concepts are, we're trying to make sure that we can share our experience, but at the same time, we're not telling you what to do as much as we're trying to share. And so let me do this. Let's flash that up on my screen. I can share my screen for a second just before we get going. We're about 4 minutes out, 3 minutes out. So again, thanks for everybody who's tuned in today, falling in love with DTG printing. I know I have. I'm all in. Terry, you seem like, even though you're still a screen printer to the core, I gotta say, you're pretty much fallen in love. Is it possible to have like two relationships, one with DTG and one with screen printing?
I think so, Jay, because as a screen printer, I'm the guy who used to cringe when somebody came in and said, well, I've got this family reunion. Little Susie's a 2.4, and my Uncle Bob, he's a 4X, and I don't really want to pay for extra screens. And DTG is a dream come true for me as a screen printer.
I love it. Well, here's a quick screen of our subject matter experts, and you can see that I profiled Adrian and Jason are the super duper VIPs. But we've got Jeff, myself, and you, and Amy, and of course, as I've already mentioned 10 times, Roy's in the chat, making sure that things don't get too rough out there. Because you know how people like those keyboard warriors every now and then, they like to jump in and keep it spicy. But we've got Roy, the bouncer, in the chat room. And so, yeah, so the next thing we're going to do as a transition, we've got lined up are these demos. And so here's what we've got. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can double check our time. We're about 2 minutes out. You can see them starting to circle around the equipment there in New Jersey. And we'll make sure that Vanessa's ready, and then she can share her screen, I believe, so that we can see it in a larger format rather than just the small box.
And Jay, if I could comment here while we're waiting,
yeah.
too. When you talked about people with experience, I think that that says something about Equipment Zone, because Equipment Zone seeks out people with experiences, a range of experiences in this industry, so that when customers call in and have a question, we have a real hands-on understanding of what it is you're trying to accomplish in your business. So credit to Harry and the crew at Equipment Zone for trying to have a staff that is full in on all types of garment decorating.
Yeah, I love that. Well said, my friend. So let's kick it out to New Jersey, and let's see if Vanessa, you want to unmute and we can hear you. Let's see if we've got a good smooth transition here.
Hey, Jay, can you hear me?
Ah, beautiful. It's like music to my ears. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move around towards the printer. Be careful with the video camera. Right down there where Omar is going to meet you.
All right, everyone's just circling now.
And that voice you hear that's talking about going to the printer is Amy Krulowitz.
Hello, everyone out there.
Hey, Amy, thanks for joining us. We can see and hear everybody in New Jersey. Do you know, we forgot to double check.
Hello, and then I'll be done.
There
Hello,
she
everyone.
is.
I'm so glad you're all here. We have a really nice group here today in New Jersey. It is a beautiful 58-degree day. So we've got a lot of interested customers here. We're going to start by doing a formal demonstration showing the Epson F2100 printer. We're going to go from pre-treating to heat press to printing, so everyone can get a good sense of that. Then we're going to move over, and Tim is going to do the same thing with the 3070 printer. So it's going to be like, not really dueling printers, but we're going to show you both.
I love it.
Okay, I'm stepping out.
All right, excellent. Hey, before you get too serious there, Vanessa, can you share your screen, and that way it would take up the whole space? Is that possible? Or is that already a foregone conclusion?
All right, give me 1 second.
Okay.
Let's see.
And I'll make sure you have permission to do that.
How is that okay? Now
Try.
DTG. Do you see equipment zone big? Oh, full screen? No.
Yeah. Almost there. Share screen.
Well, if I share the screen, it'll just see the desktop.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you would be able to enlarge that so we could just see. We've got a great view. Don't get me wrong. I was just hopeful that we'd see the whole screen would be dedicated to you.
What about if we did speaker view?
So what Omar
If
just
we do
did
speaker view, I'm seeing
is
you.
going to be your morning maintenance.
Does that help
You're
at all
going
when
to
I
do a
change
nozzle
that?
check pattern, and he's going to wipe it off, and he's ready to go. So it's really that simple. He turns the machine off every night. Machine does not have to be on 24/7. He comes in, he pushes the button, prints the nozzle check, he makes sure everything is good. If there are any breaks in the line, then he'll do a light cleaning, which again is just pushing a button, and then he should be ready to go. So Omar already pre-treated this shirt in our speed treater. We will show you the speed treater as well in detail. But right now, for purposes of demonstration, he's just going to load it on the platen, put the hoop on, and he's going to make sure it's nice and flat, and he's ready to go. Pretty simple so far. So he purposely made sure that that beeper would go off, because I want you to see that you will not have to worry about the print heads getting hit. Okay? You will get an alarm telling you it's a little too high, or you've got a real wrinkle in your shirt somewhere, and the printer doesn't like that. And that's it. Some people ask that question. You know, will there be a head strike? Will I ruin my head if I don't have this on right? Printer won't let you do that. So the way the printer works, and unfortunately we don't have the top off on this one, but we will do it again. The way the printer works is it's going to lay down the whiting first. It's going to come back out, and then it'll go back in, and it will lay down the CMYK inks. The shirt we're printing on is a tri-blend. It is what percentage? 25 cotton, surprisingly. 25% cotton, polyester, and rayon. Okay. So although direct-to-garment printing loves 100% cotton, you can print beautifully on tri-blends and cotton blends. Many of you have gotten sample shirts from us already, so you'll recognize the famous lizards. We've seen these many, many times. The printer is very easy because it plugs right into the wall. It doesn't require any special electrical. It can be put on the network, which is what we have now with an Ethernet cable, or you could connect it via USB cable. See, it went right back in now, and now it's doing the CMYK. There is another really nice feature. If you were interested, you could set up all your jobs ahead of time on the computer, put it on a USB drive, and walk right over and plug in the USB drive. And then the printer loads up those files, and you could just stand here pushing the button and pushing the button. Makes it a little more productive when you have a lot of work to do. So you don't have to keep running back to the computer.
Question, does it do one color? Go in one color, go in one color?
No,
Or
it's doing CMYK all at the same time.
so you have to do the white first.
White first, comes out, goes back in, CMYK at the same time. If you have a white shirt, you don't necessarily need white ink, which means you don't necessarily need to pre-treat. So it will fly in there. You just put the shirt right in and it'll print that white shirt in a matter of seconds.
Hey, Amy, if you can hear me, if someone's asking a question there, if you could repeat it for us.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem.
The question was asking about a white shirt. Do I have to use
perfect.
white ink if I'm printing on a white shirt? And the
Okay.
answer is no. You can use the base of the white shirt for the white part. There's our finish.
Look at that. Brilliant.
So Omar's going to now pop it in our heat press. Oh, he's going to use the other heat press. Okay, we've got a lot of equipment here. And we're putting it on our Vastex dryer. Now the conveyor belt dryer, this is 54 inches wide. The conveyor belt dryer is very good to have when you're doing a lot of volume. As you can see, once he puts it on the belt, he just walks away and goes to the next shirt. So it's really productive. They do come in 30 inches as well. This is the big one because we want to be able to put two side by side sometimes and show that to customers as well. Any questions about this part of the demonstration?
No, that was clear, Amy. Thank you. We've had some folks in the
Okay.
chat that are talking, but we'll let Roy answer those questions in the chat. But so far, so good.
So now we'll move over to the 3070. So Tim, he's going to pre-treat the shirt first so you can see that process. Because we didn't show that before, we will show that now. The pre-treat process is very simple and very quick. Equipment Zone manufactures the speed treater here in New Jersey, right in our warehouse. And by pushing a button, in a matter of about 6 seconds, it'll spray the pre-treat on nice and evenly. There are adjustable nozzles for different widths, and you can also adjust the amount of pre-treat by the length. There is our pre-treated shirt. So now Tim is going to put it on our heat press. This is the Geonite DK20A. You want to dry your pre-treat. You want to give it a nice pressing because you want the fibers of the shirt to get nice and flat. So you get a good image when you lay down that ink. No, it's not a two-person operation. It's a little dry in here. It's a little dry in here, so our parchment paper is. There we go. I might add that the Epson F2100 is in stock and is shipping. We've heard that other companies do not have them and may not have them for some weeks. Equipment Zone being the largest direct-to-garment printer company sale in the country, we have them in stock. So the question was, how long do we press it? We're pressing it for about 45 seconds. We're keeping it at 338 degrees. And this is an automatic pop-up, so Tim could be doing something else while that's drying. And then he can go on to something and not risk burning the shirt. The question, so I can repeat it. Tim, what was the question?
If you're putting it on a heat press, you have to use the coated sheets over the top. Yeah.
Yes, those silicone coated sheets serve a couple of purposes. The first purpose, of course, is to protect the platen of the heat press. The second purpose is it absorbs the excess steam that's coming out. As you saw it kind of get crinkly. Well, that's the excess liquid that's coming out the water. You want to make sure you get a good dry on these. Okay. All right, Tim is now going to put a shirt on the 3070. We can swing around. Excuse me. So the Epson F3070 is Epson's newest edition. It is designed for fast production. Now I want you, don't look away, because when that goes in that machine, it's going to come out so fast. I don't want you to miss it. Keep watching. The machine has a lot of great features. It has a bulk ink system, so the ink will cost you half as much as the cartridge system. It allows you to print well over 50 shirts a day, an hour. I didn't mean a day, sorry.
I was
You
going
can
to
do over
say.
50 an hour. Hundreds a day, I would say. And just like the 2100, this printer is in stock and shipping. Again, Equipment Zone being the largest reseller of this equipment, we've got them ready.
2 minutes for me.
2 minutes? Oh, it's cleaning. Our little girl is cleaning. So I call her a little girl because she does what she wants when she wants it. No, I'm just kidding. She's going through a little cleaning cycle now. And I will tell you, this is a good opportunity to explain the environment. It's a little warmer in here and it's a little drier in here. You want your environment to be between 40 and 50, 55% humidity. And you want the temperature to be comfortable for you. So if your temperature goes up in the 80s, or if your humidity is down at 20%, it's going to want to do more cleanings. The same holds true that if it's too cold or too damp, okay? So you really want to have it when you're comfortable, the machine is comfortable. The humidifiers are a good idea. We have a humidifier right behind you there, Erwin. And because we have a very dry room here. This room was not designed for all the equipment that we have in here. This was a manufacturing warehouse at one point. So when you look at all the printers we have here, you can imagine how dry it can get. Well, if a warehouse does not have air conditioning, I would say you want to control the temperature, whether that means one of those portable air conditioners that you vent to the outside or putting the ones up on the wall interior. You definitely want to control the environment. She's done cleaning. She's happy now. Once those lights light up, she will start printing. The LED lights are lighting, and there we go. Now, this is a dual print head machine. That means it's laying down the white first and the CMYK right after it. So literally at the same, as close to the same time as possible. And you can see it right there. You see the white going down, and as that moves forward, the color will then kick in. It doesn't come out and go back in the way the 2100 does. This machine has a lot of additional features like an automatic height sensor. It's got different filters inside. It's really designed for people who are in production. And there we go. And out we come. Who's timing us? Do we have a count? Well, fast. Definitely under a minute.
That looks awesome.
That looks
And that is our
fantastic,
finished
Amy.
shirt.
Wonderful
Back on the
job.
conveyor belt dryer. Okay, back to you, Jay.
All right. Thanks, everybody, New Jersey. That was fantastic. We had a lot of great questions, too. So some of the chat questions were there. Vanessa, oh, there you go. I was just going to say you can mute that. What do you think, Terry? I mean, obviously, we see it every day, but it's still impressive.
Very impressive, Jay. And I think the comparison, obviously, the vast majority of machines we sell are the F2100 because you still can print a shirt in about 2 minutes, and certainly print 1, print 100 if you choose to. The F3070 is for that. I guess the biggest comparison would be that screen printer that has a couple of automatic presses. Then the F3070 makes more sense in the volume of garments that you can print. Amy was talking about the environment. With all direct-to-garment printers, you do need that 40+ humidity. And Jay, some larger decorators don't have that opportunity. They're in a warehouse space. So I've seen all kinds of things from framing up a building with clear plastic and having a door on it and having a humidifier inside. Jay, as you know, you and I visited a local printer here that has a dozen F2100s, and all of those printers are in an office environment. They're running 2 conveyor dryers, and they just have a hole cut in the wall, and that dryer slid up there, and the in feed is on the printer side and the out feed is on the warehouse side. So there's a lot of innovative things that you can do to have the proper environment for what it is you want to do. So but excellent presentation there, and it's obviously very fast and very efficient. And Jay, if I could comment real quick, we've talked to so many people who have other direct-to-garment brand machines and talk about coming in the morning and spending an hour or 2 hours getting the machine up and ready to print a garment. With these printers, you come in, you turn them on, you shake the 2 white cartridges, do a nozzle check to make sure everything's firing the way it should be, and start printing shirts. And it's not a load the shirt and cross your fingers type situation. So it is truly, I compare it again, and excuse me for comparing back to screen printing again, but it's like having a manual screen printing press. You come in, you turn on your dryer, you load a shirt, you start printing. That's the way it is with the Epson direct-to-garment printers as well.
Yeah, perfect. So you just have to forgive us for a second, folks. I totally gave the incorrect directions to our good friend Jason Murphy, who I'm sure I'm going to owe a few adult beverages and other apologies. Because we don't change our clocks here in Arizona, I failed to remember that we are no longer both on Pacific time. So when we corrected each other this morning and checked in, I said, yes, you're on at 11:45. So I owe Jason a big apology, but he made it. He's here. Jason, if you're ready, we're ready for you, my friend. If not, we're going to keep chatting for a second. We built in a few minutes just in case, because we knew these transitions would be a little bumpy. Can you hear us, Jason?
I'm here and I am ready when you are.
Oh, you are my new best friend. We're ready for you, my bud. Look at you. I can see you. I can hear you. It's like you're in Washington or something.
I am in Washington this week, up at the corporate office.
I love it. I love it. Well, this is so fun. Thanks for joining us. We don't have you for long. We know you're a busy guy, but you are our VIP speaker, bud. You are like the big deal. I mean, you're the reason that we have so many folks tuned in today. They're like, somebody from SanMar is going to be here. We better check this out.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. I love supporting our friends at Equipment Zone. You guys are great.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Listen, the reality is we have a couple of topics that we wanted to bring you on. And of course, at the top of everybody's list, and I'm sorry to bring it up because I know you probably have this conversation 20, 30 times a day. But what can you tell us about the current state of blank apparel and getting things in and out of the ports and all of this supply chain that we hear about? Maybe you could give us a little current update or some perspectives from your point of view.
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, everybody that's on, thank you for being patient with SanMar and working with us as well. Stock has been an issue, and it's been a big issue from the point of going all the way back down into the raw goods, the yarn, the getting product here of that, right? So before we even in production of shipping a piece of apparel, there was a lot of stuff that happened in China over these last couple of years where 30% of the world's cotton was actually boycotted. And it's because of how they treated their people. It was basically slave labor. So how do you replace 30% of the world's cotton supply? It's really, really difficult. So we've been resourcing everything and getting it from good, responsible places that meet our guidelines of the FLA and how we treat people and how we treat the world and trying to be sustainable. So that was kind of the beginning of it. Is some of the raw goods at the beginning was really difficult. And then it became to how are we getting it off the ports? How are we getting it off the ships? How are we getting it to our factories? That was difficult. And now it's getting raw good or the finished goods off the ships into the ports and into our warehouses. It is easing up. It's getting better. It is still going to take time, and now that the government stepped in and it seems like the ports are starting to move in a little bit quicker, we're going to keep our fingers crossed, and it is definitely getting better. We're working real hard to bring in a lot more product, and I can tell you today, our sourcing and our merchandising teams are working day in and day out, and our leadership, they know, they understand, and a message from all of them to all of you, our customers and Equipment Zone, thank you. And again, thank you for being patient as we fix this issue.
Well, Jason, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so Jason, you're the elevator pitch of I sell T-shirts. There's more to it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about some good news. Let's talk about SanMar being recognized by Deloitte and Wall Street Journal as a 2021 U.S. Best Managed Companies. So it looks like the focus on creating products that they consider a canvas for good has helped you guys to become a global leader in sustainability and environmental stewardship. How important is sustainability to our industry?
For us, sustainability, eco-friendly is one of the utmost important things that we look at. I mean, we're part of the FLA, the Fair Labor Association, and we're actually at the elite level where all of our factories are audited, and they're audited independently, not just by us, that we're treating people right. We're making sure they make a fair wage. They live in a great environment. They work in a good environment. I've personally been to our facilities, and I can honestly tell you in Honduras, in our facility, the one thing that really blew me away is how happy these people were because they were paid a fair wage. They had a really good housing. They had the opportunity to buy housing. We go down there, with this whole pandemic, we made sure that there was vaccines available for these people so we could actually get back to work. It was super important. But how we source our product is of the utmost importance, but it's what we do with it after that. And how do we maintain it going through the decoration process and trying to keep the decoration process sustainable as well. And that's something that with people like Equipment Zone, you're working hard on these kinds of things. Our decorators are working hard to understand sustainability and become more sustainable. And we do everything we can to help. And we understand being 100% sustainable, man, that's rough. That's a big call. and especially your decorators. I mean, you go through a decorator's shop and be as sustainable is not easy. But if you look at what can you do as a decorator to be sustainable, reduce paper waste, do more recycling, go digital with your order processing, and a lot of it also with your people is what are you doing to keep your people happy, right? What are you doing to keep them motivated and make their life better? So there are a lot of things that decorators can do, and I'm proud to say that the shops I've been in, they do everything they can to keep their people happy. And especially in today's world where labor is so difficult to find, that's probably one of the most important things you can do is what can I do to keep my people motivated, happy, and healthy.
Love that. I love that. Speaking of motivated, healthy, and happy, it was a big win, I think, for the SanMar team to have combined forces with the All Made team and the All Made apparel. And we know a lot about their story of sustainability and environmental awareness and how they were able to look at stewardship differently. So, I mean, I got to tip my cap to you guys, literally and physically and mentally and all of the whatevers, to say it just seems like you care. And so when we see the programs like Canvas for Good, and when we see that you guys are getting recognized, I also see it from a personal level as I've gotten to know you a little bit better, Jason, and your team. And so it's so cool to see that you're not just like talking the talk, if that makes sense. So we notice, at least I want you to know that.
We appreciate it. And again, we notice it as well across the industry with our decorators, with our partners, our affiliates. Everybody's trying. And we appreciate, Deloitte recognizing us for these things. And honestly, it's our leadership, and it's our leadership giving all of us the ability to do our jobs, to make decisions and be responsible.
Yeah, I was just gonna jump in and say, if you haven't seen some of the work that SanMar has done or some of the resources that your team puts together, it's expansive. It's a big deal. I would strongly encourage those of you that are watching this to go back to the SanMar website and check out what they're doing. They have resources, they have training videos, a lot of great resources there. And one of the reasons I bring that up is because I've known you for a long time, Jason, but I've also known the folks at SanMar, that you're pushing yourselves to be innovative, that you're not just dealing with the sustainability issue of today or the supply chain issue of today. You're also looking forward 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and trying to remain relevant and innovative, which is not easy to do. So what could you tell us about some recently released products, possibly that were completely pre-treated throughout? Is there anything like that you guys have recently been involved with?
There is. So we've recently created the first tri-blend in the industry that is completely pre-treated. So when the decorator gets it, that owns an Epson machine, a Brother machine, whatever it happens to be, take it out of the box, they press it, it goes on the machine and they print. So it takes that pre-treat process out of play. Now, that being said, taking the pre-treat process out of play, yes, that's part of it. And I don't want all of you out there to think you don't need a pre-treat machine, because you still need it. Because as much as I'd like to say you're always going to buy my product that's pre-treated, we know that's not true. So you're going to need your pre-treat machine and pre-treat still, because you're going to have people that are asking for Bella Canvas, asking for an all-made, asking for a number of other things that are not going to come pre-treated. Not to say we're not trying, and we're going to keep moving forward.
Well, listen, you just kept Harry from passing out. So thank you for stating that SanMar definitely knows and recognizes that you will always still need a pre-treat machine. However, we have to recognize that it really is an innovative move, because I can't tell you how many times, like if you were at a festival, at an event, printing on site, to have a box of apparel that's already pre-treated to go, and it came that way. That's a big time saver.
Yeah, and we also look at it from places that you cannot have the pre-treat machine. So people who are in malls where they can't have a pre-treat machine out there handy. We've heard of stories of DTG machines on cruise boats. You can't have the pre-treat machines on the cruise boats.
Ooh, that's a cruise I want to go on.
Right? So there's all sorts of neat stuff like that. And you think of some of your amusement parks that are going DTG. If they didn't have to have that in the background and have somebody back there actually doing this, that could give whoever is selling those people, Equipment Zone, an enormous bump to be able to say, hey, put this in there and you buy these shirts, you don't have to deal with that part anymore. So it's a neat way to do it. I know I did on-site decorating when I had my business. And if I had a pre-treated shirt back then, oh my gosh, I would have loaded my DTG up and took it everywhere.
I love that. That's so great. First of all, the fact that people watching are just now hearing, when I had my printing business, I'm like, yes, Jason's one of us, folks. Jason's one of us. He's probably still got ink under his fingernails right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because, the fun thing is, with my job, I still get to work with, affiliates like yourself who manufacture and distribute. I get to work with decorators on a regular basis. And, part of my job pre-pandemic was actually being in people's shops and working through problems. Being with ink manufacturers, transfer manufacturers, and saying, okay, here's the problem we're running into. Can you help me fix it? Yeah. And that has been the coolest part of my job, is dealing with that and coming to people. You guys have been so integral in helping us. I mean, even with our DTG ready product, you guys were great testing it for us, right?
Love that.
We understood that in the beginning, there was going to be a little fight. Well, but you're selling this and we sell pre-treated machines. I'm like, no, you still need those. It's an alternative. So you guys have been fantastic for us and a wonderful affiliate. And we anything we can do to help, you guys, your customer base, our customer, our industry. Our industry is so fun. We had a meeting last night. We were all sitting around the table talking about why we like this industry so much. And we had some new people. And we told these people, said, wait till you go to your first trade show and you meet the customer. That is the funnest thing in my life, is going to a trade show and seeing somebody that we put in business 20 years ago that can't wait to come up and give you a hug, right?
Yeah.
Hands down, my favorite time at a trade show is seeing those people.
That's awesome. Well, we've only got about 2 minutes left, Terry, so I'm gonna kick it over to you.
Okay, Jason, and I know you from many years ago, back in early DTG days. I know you get out there in the industry a lot. Any fresh decorating trends you're seeing out there? Is DTF one of them?
Oh gosh, DTF has taken off. It's probably, in our team and the questions that we receive, DTF is the #1 topic today. People want to know, what's it about? How can I put it in my system? How will it work in my shop? And these are people from the smallest decorators to the largest decorators are looking at it going, how do I utilize this? So yes, that is probably one of the biggest things I see today, is people want to know about it. So I'm excited that you guys are starting to talk about it and hopefully have something coming soon to fix it. So yeah,
Make it all
it's
better.
big.
Make it. Yeah, we're working on it. It's not any. It's a work in progress, right, Terry?
Exactly right. But what a great segue for us.
Well, listen, Jason, I don't mean to cut you off, and I do thank you, but we are going to get into a DTF demonstration next, and so your segue was quite possibly planned. But the truth is that I love the fact that you know a lot about this industry and that you get your hands in it and you wrestle with it, and that you guys are aware of these trends. So we can't thank you enough for your time. Please forgive me again in front of all of these participants live that I messed up your time. I feel like such a, you know what I feel like.
No, it was funny because I
Anyways.
got up out of this meeting and I just left. They're
Well,
like, where are you going? I gotta go.
Tell your team I owe you apology, and we're so thrilled that you were able to join us and talk about sustainability and talk about all of the things in terms of environmental stewardship, the Canvas for Good program. And I got to give a shout out to your website. I love the fact that you have that, and I flashed it up on the screen a couple of times that people can see what you have in stock and then work backwards from that so that they're not wigged out about supply. So
We got that from our customers. So again, thank all of you for giving your feedback. That's how that was created.
awesome, buddy. Well, we'll let you get back to your meetings and have fun and tell everybody we miss them and can't wait to see them in Long Beach
Yeah,
in a
tacos
couple of
and beer
months.
in Long Beach.
Woo, I owe you. All right, bud.
Jason.
Have a
Take
good
care.
day.
How cool is that, Terry?
Awesome. You know, it's so cool because, as I mentioned, you know, I met Jason many years ago back in the TJet days. So
Yeah, it's been a while since we've all circled around. Well, we're getting New Jersey ready. So while Jason says goodbye, we are welcoming our folks back from New Jersey, getting ready for our next live demonstration. If I'm not mistaken, or do we have a little time there? Correct me if I'm wrong, Terry. I want to make sure I don't mess this up now that I'm off track.
oh, maybe we do have a little extra time here. I think you are correct.
Okay, yeah,
we
I
probably
think
cut
we are.
Jason off a little bit short.
Well, listen, let's then brag about him and talk a little bit about the three things we just mentioned, because we do have about 12 more minutes before we're gonna jump in. But I felt terrible that I asked him at a specific time, and then I was like, "You're up," and he's like, "What?"
You know, Jay, it seems weird that we here in Arizona we don't do daylight savings time, but it causes complications with everyone around us.
You know, and of all the
last Saturday, we are in the same time as the West Coast. On Sunday, we're an hour earlier or an hour later than the West Coast.
I know, but I am 100% own that and apologize to him and everybody here because it did seem a little rushed. But he only had a few minutes there, and so he was texting me on the side saying I got to roll. So I pulled him out of a meeting just so that he could jump in. Anyway, Frank Good says, let's have a petition to no more daylight savings. Well, listen, you got me because Frank, listen, we have to do the exact opposite of what everybody else does. When y'all fall back an hour, we actually move up because we didn't move our clocks. And when everybody springs forward in the spring and they set their clock again, then we end up falling back. So it's this crazy thing.
Jay, how many times on an airplane have you argued with the person next to you about what time it is where you're landing in Phoenix? No, see, it's April. So therefore it's 9:15 here. It's not 10:15.
Well, listen, I want to make sure our audience doesn't tune out because of our time situations and the lack of, I must have looked at that 100 times and planned for this, but I still let him down. So I'm trying not to feel bad, but.
Jay, you mentioned talking about sustainability and you mentioned All Made Apparel. Our good friend Mel Lay runs the All Made Apparel program, and now that is a part of the SanMar family, and that is the epitome of sustainability. You know, those garments are made in Haiti, and they pay a living wage to all the employees. I remember Mel telling us once that when they post a job there in Haiti at their factory where they make the t-shirts, that 1,000 people will line up for one job opening. It's those are the kinds of opportunities they're offering there. And not only are they using water bottles in every garment that they make, and we joke with her about it being the water bottle shirt because of a customer calling saying, "Hey, what is that shirt? You know, the water bottle one?"
Right. Listen, we've had some great experiences with the All Made brands, and of course they originally came out with a tri-blend. That was the only shirt they had, and we weren't 100% positive that it was going to be a great print. But while we were at a trade show about 2.5 years ago now, it seems like, Ryan Moore, who most folks know, Ryan and we're all close, we're all connected, and Ryan brought over some shirts and he said, "Hey, I want to see how this Epson prints these." You know, he knew that they would print because he'd seen a few others already tested. But when we printed that design live, which is also something that we do, we're crazy enough or smart enough, I'm not sure which, to print something live right in front of a customer when they bring up a file on their jump drive, and we're like, okay, if there's a virus on this, you're buying this printer. But otherwise, we'll give it a shot, and we don't know what the quality is, you know, so obviously we're at the mercy of their resolution and their file. But Ryan brought over those images, and then he let us test a few more, and luckily had some really cool Aztec designs, if you'll remember, like that full sundial thing and all of the intricacies of that. We printed that out, and they were just completely blown away. And it's impressive to me when I can see others in the industry, like a Jason Murphy, like a Ryan Moore, like a Mel Lay, who are in this industry, and they just sit there and look at it and go, unreal, unbelievable. The quality is so good. The colors pop. And I wish I could take credit for that. I can't. Obviously, it's the engineers at Epson, and it's putting everything right in the right order, the right levels of pre-treat, the right settings in Garment Creator or RIP software, whatever you're using, the right substrate, which, Terry, we're going to talk about in an upcoming little training session that you and I have on this show. But how cool was that? Do you remember their reaction when we showed them the final goods?
Absolutely. And I remember Mel bringing over dozens of shirts during the process, you know, that we printed, that she was handing out to customers and posting in the booth. But, you know, one of the things that we don't talk about, and something that, pardon my.
Yeah, you're okay. You're at home. We know. It's okay.
But one of the things that people don't realize is like the amount of water consumed in the process of making shirts, and the other things that go into garments that people are making an effort to eliminate, or making an effort to lessen the impact. And you know, hey, Ryan Moore at Ryan Ed, he's not out there as a scientist or researcher, but he's certainly bringing that information to the forefront. He's bringing it to the people, saying, here's what I've discovered. It takes this number of gallons of water. It takes this,
Mm-hmm.
and here's where we're trying to make it better. And hey, does sometimes those garments cost a little bit more? Yeah, they do. But there's a story to be told, and there's a reason that maybe it costs a little bit more sometimes to make these garments, but that's a story your customer might want to hear as well, and might very well want to be involved in. And you know, your customer isn't always looking for the cheapest product, but they're certainly looking for a quality product, a quality print. They're looking for maybe to make it a little impact on the world as well.
Well, for sure. And it gives them a story to tell as well. You know, that's part I love about it. And if you haven't been to the All Made website, I would check it out, allmadeapparel.com. This isn't a commercial for them, but we just respect them. And so we're bringing up, like we would anyone else that we would want you to know about, in terms of awareness. And you can see on their website, they have a little calculator. You know, if you're printing 144 of a particular brand, you can compare that to the All Made and see how much water you're saving, or how many bottles of, you know, the water bottles you're recycling. And it's impressive, you know, and that's the thing I appreciate about what Ryan did, is he brought the discussion forward through other decorators, like saying, hey, here's 10 screen printers that I know and respect. We're thinking about developing a new t-shirt. Who wants in, you know? So,
well, and you know, Jay, we should do a webinar sometime about people's roots, and of course we're talking about Mel Lay running a division for SanMar, but you and I know Mel from back when she was a screen printer.
That's right.
In her garage, and working there by herself, printing shirts. and being on all kinds of social media saying, hey, it's midnight. I'm printing this shirt. It's pretty cool.
Still here, still printing. Yeah.
My kids are in bed. This is the only time I have to print today. And these are turned out really good. And, you know, it's a 12:15. And so a lot of the folks in the industry have a similar history to a lot of people who are listening to this webinar. You know, started out for a variety of reasons, started out, you know, Mel's situation was she had 2 small kids and hey, I don't want to put my kids in daycare. So I'm going to buy screen printing equipment. I'm going to put it in my garage. And her very first post on Instagram was a picture of all the crates in her garage. And it said, go on this journey with me. And I thought, oh my gosh, is that a beautiful way to start your business?
It is. And Mel's story is so amazing because, as you know, and I'm going to give you the condensed version for everybody watching. Check out, you can find her on YouTube. She has done a great job of cataloging some of this, but turns out that one of her really popular designs that was online, a team of designers that worked for Target saw it and made a very similar version of her design. And one of her followers from Instagram went into a Target and was like, wait a minute, that's Mel's shirt. And they took pictures of it, sent it back to Mel. Mel called the folks at Target, and Target was like, what are you talking about? And one thing led to another. She got an apology from Target. She also ended up on Good Morning America in their local area as well as nationally. And then from that, she got an invitation from the producers of Shark Tank, because by then her business had really blew up. It was gaining a ton of momentum, and all of that publicity, of course, did not hurt her or her business. So yeah, I mean, you just never know. And I love that all of the folks that are, I know for a fact, Terry, all of our attendees that are listening in, they have a similar solopreneur story. Like they fought through it, they made it happen. And that's what I think we all respect about this industry, is so often it's just like, you don't know what's going to be the challenge, but you push forward, and hopefully you have great friends like we have. I feel blessed and lucky to be able to call all of you guys and gals my friends, but to be able to have that network of help. So in a weird kind of off topic way, I think those of you that are listening can see that's one of the side benefits that Equipment Zone brings to the table. There's no way I could have asked Jason to drop everything he was doing and just jump on because I messed up the time, but yet he did it for us, you know? So I don't know. I guess maybe we got lucky too, but we'll take that, considering we're recording this and we've got everybody watching. But I did communicate with New Jersey. We're about 2 or 3 minutes away. Vanessa, if you're listening in, we're going to stick to the schedule. So 2:15 Eastern time is when we're going to start doing some work on DTF and direct to transfer, direct to film. That's the concept. Everything we do in life, right, especially in our world, has an acronym now, Terry. So
yeah, exactly. You know, Jay, and you're the marketing guy. I'm sales and training, and I'm gonna tell a little marketing story here. Go on, and like Jay said, take a look at Mel Lay's story, MELLAY, and in your own business, do what she's done. All she did was tell a story about, here's what I'm doing. It's midnight. I'm printing this design. My kids are in bed, and isn't it awesome to be able to create in your garage and create something that the world wants? And Jay, I have a wonderful picture that I use in my screen printing presentations of Mel Lay standing in Target, a major retailer.
Yeah, I already spilled the beans. I already said it was Target. Yeah,
and wearing that shirt and holding up and staying in front of the rack of the knockoff shirts that are nearly identical with a sad face. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what a great marketing story this is. And all true. None of it was contrived.
Oh yeah, no, not at all. 100% accurate and truthful. And yeah, for sure. I love it. I love it. Well, we're a couple minutes outside. I'm going to refresh my screen here, share my screen. So we'll say goodbye to the SanMar folks. Thanks, SanMar, for joining us. Thank you, Jason. Last call, gifts for all. As you go to their website, you're going to see these are some of the information, streamlining your search. I really love that idea of being able to just go in and say, what do they have stock in? Because if you're thinking about this right now, And you're going to get those calls, Terry. We know because we've had those calls
Oh yeah.
where
yeah.
somebody forgot, oh shoot, I thought so-and-so was going to order. They didn't. Now it's on me. And I need, 65 gifts for my team. What can I get? And they might be thinking apparel or t-shirt or something, but you might have to get more creative and say, well, let me see what I can find in stock first. And then let's come up with something creative, right? So
yeah, and Jay, did you catch what Jason said? He goes, "This idea came from one of our customers."
yeah,
So
brilliant.
So we're all listening out there. You have ideas. We're all listening.
We absolutely do listen. We may not be able to change everything as fast as you want, but we are listening. We do have empathy. We do appreciate the feedback, even when we're not perfect, and we know we're not. We want to try to do the best we can to make it right. That's the difference. Is we'll own up to it. Like me mixing up the time zone again, and just deal with it. So we're getting close. Look at that. Oop, I gave everyone a sneak peek, Terry. I don't know if I should have done that, but let's see if Vanessa's ready for us. If they are, we are ready for them. I'm going to stop sharing. Vanessa, how are we doing? Are we getting close?
Hey, Jay. Yeah, just give me 1 second.
Okay, not trying to push or pressure you, just checking in.
The folks in New Jersey have the added benefit of talking to customers live while trying to coordinate with our timing on the virtual version of this event.
Exactly. So we've got something in store for everybody. We're pretty excited about this. What you're about to see is really, in my mind, the answer to polyester. And I'm just going to say it, Terry, because we have wrestled with this for the better part of 6 years. We have told customers, what's our standard line? Well, yes, it's possible. However,
can you do it? Yes. Should you do it? Probably not.
They want to start.
Yep, we're getting ready to go. We've got some folks there. We hope we're not in.
We'll just do it in our shop.
We got to push people around.
Yeah, there's a bunch of.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, check it out. They got a big umbrella back there. That means our good friends Dan Edge from Peerless Umbrellas in the house.
That's right.
So
Because
All right, Jim.
can you decorate it? Well, let's try. That's kind of our philosophy.
It is kind of our philosophy.
I don't know if we can or not. Let's give it a shot.
I love that. Yeah, I ran into Dan Edge about, I want to say 2 months ago at an event here in Scottsdale. And I told him about direct to transfer and this idea of a direct to film transfer. And he was like, wait, what? Like, it was like,
Is that a thing?
Oh, this is possible.
All right. Hey, Jay, can you hear us?
Yeah, we can. You hear great. Sound great. Sorry. I hear you great. You sound well. I don't know. It's one of those days.
All right. Awesome. We're just going to have Jeff and Tim walk on over, and they are going to start talking about the DTF process.
Jeff
I
and Tim
love
show.
it. Hey, guys, can you hear us okay?
Guys. Yep, I can
You
hear you
sa-
fine.
You sound wonderful. We're going to turn it over to you. So
Well,
tell
you
us
sound
more.
wonderful too, Jay. We're going to play around with some directed film transfers here real quick. It's kind of a new technology. It's something that everybody seems to have a lot of interest in. Very hot topic at the moment. One of the great things about it is it allows you to print a whole lot of substrates that don't print particularly well on normal direct-to-garment type printing. So performance fabrics, wetsuit materials. We just did some umbrellas a few minutes ago, which traditionally you wouldn't be able to do with your normal DTG type setup. So what we've got is we've got a piece of easy DTF Pro film here that we're going to put on the printer by using, we're going to go on, which machine are we going to work on? On the 2100. So we're going to be working on the Epson 2100. Works equally well on the 3070. And what we're going to have to do here is we're going to use the RIP so that we can reverse the print order and mirror image. Because with a t-shirt, you're going to print your white ink first, then put color on top. In this case, we want to go the opposite. We want to print our color first, then we're going to print the white behind it, but we've also got a mirror image because we're going to flip it over and transfer it. So once that's done, we'll add some adhesive powder to the back, and now this thing will stick to almost anything. So it's a great alternative for the system to be able to really increase the number of substrates you can print on, or the types of garments, the types of materials, with very little cost. So now we're opening up a substantial amount of additional market that we just didn't have access to with the great straight direct to garment type print. Take it away, Tim. We're going to make a transfer for you here real quick, guys. So basically, we're going to see film. Just going to take the film. We're going to put it on the platen on the machine. In this case, we're going to tape it just to hold it in place.
Yeah, perfect, Jeff. If you can keep narrating, because we can hear you, but we can't really hear Tim. So go ahead and keep narrating if you don't mind.
I don't know what he said. I can't hear. I am narrating. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So we're going to put this first piece of film down. We're going to tape it. It just holds it in place so it doesn't shuttle around because we've got to print 2 colors on it, or 2 layers.
Loaded.
You ready?
I have the artwork sent here already.
So Tim's already loaded the file, so we'll make it quick and easy. It's kind of like the Julia Child's cooking show. You know, we've got it already made. It's in the oven. Now we're going to take it out and taste it real quick for you. So, and I guess I'm showing my age with Julia Child's, right?
Just a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, so for everybody still watching, thank you for tuning in. What you're watching is a F2100 printing on a transfer paper. And this is what we call direct to film. The transfer paper is also sometimes called film. That's where the DTF came from. The software that they used is proprietary to us. It's something that we developed in conjunction. It's powered by Cathari, but we call it Easy Rip Pro.
So what we're doing now, we've got the CMYK or the colored inks going down first. It'll come out, it'll go back in, and we'll drop in the white on the background side. So reverse order from the direct to garment print. We need the color first, then the white, because the white will then attach to the shirt.
Perfect. So I can kind of see the print head going back and forth, and that's the CMYK going down in reverse, as Jeff just explained. And it'll pop out for a second, won't it? That's what we're about to see.
So we're gonna have another pass here with the white ink.
So what you'll see when you come out, we do have some white ink. We've actually added the highlights plus the CMYK, and it'll go in for one more pass. Then we'll coat the whole back with the white ink, gives you uniform distribution, the white backing on the colors, and then the adhesive will adhere to all that second white layer.
So watching this live, Terry, wouldn't you think that we're spoiled with the F3070 because it would be almost printing twice as fast?
You're exactly correct, Jay. It's that F3070 prints in less than half the time of an F2000 and most other machines on the market. It's just incredible to see a full color with white underbase print in under a minute. You know, our average 10x12 image on the F3070 is in the neighborhood of 45 seconds full print. So it's pretty incredible.
Hey, Jay, I don't want to interrupt here, but can you guys hear me clearly?
Yeah, you sound great. Thanks, Tim.
Oh, perfect. All right. So basically right now, the printer is going back in for its second pass of white ink. When it comes out, then we're going to go ahead and put the adhesive powder on the graphic and then dry it in our D100 conveyor dryer.
Oh, right on. I'm excited to see that. I didn't know you were going to use the smaller conveyor dryer. That's cool.
So, well, this is the finished one.
Right, I was gonna say if you want to show a finished one.
We're actually.
Yeah, you can go ahead and skip. We get the process now. We understand it's.
And for our listeners, there are a variety of ways to dry. Well, I don't want to say cure the ink, but to dry the ink. We have several different options that we have available that we can help you with if you want to use this option with your F2000, F2100, F3070.
Works with all three printers. And for those of you who have heat presses, most people will use their existing equipment. So this system would work with a heat press, right, Terry?
Exactly right. Whether that is by using a bottom heating element, and most of the heat presses available today have an option for a bottom heat, and including the Geonite heat presses that we sell, or even what Roy has figured out is preheating that bottom panel and then lifting it up and laying the sheet on there. And basically, Jay, that's what we do. We're laying the sheet on there to allow that ink to dry to the point where we can stack them up or go directly to our heat press and apply to the garment.
Well, let's hope that Tim can still hear us. It sounds like he's getting ready, and he might be using, instead of the heat press, I thought I heard him say he's going to use the other smaller conveyor belt dryer.
Correct. And that's a conveyor dryer that's available from Vastex. It's a tabletop dryer, initially used by screen printers that were doing very, very low volume work, maybe working in a second bedroom.
Okay, we're done here. We've got the transfer's finished. Tim's taking it off the pallet. It's got both coats on it, full white backing.
Ooh, let me get that
Nice.
focused.
There we
So
go.
now this graphic does not have the adhesive powder applied yet. So that's what we're going to do next.
We're using a very high-tech commercial salt shaker for this purpose.
I love that. Is it salt or sugar, Terry? We need to
It
know.
might be sugar. I could be wrong. It could be sugar.
All right, what's he doing now? Oh, there it is. There's the little
This is
D100.
going into the conveyor dryer. Now, you can do it this way, or you can place your film with the uncured powder on top of the bottom heated platen on a heat press. That works as well. I like to use this method. It just seems to be a little bit faster.
And Jay, basically what's happening here is the adhesive powder, and any screen printer who's made a transfer with Plastisol knows what we're talking about, the adhesive powder that you apply to the wet ink. And what's happening in this dryer is not only are you evaporating the water from the ink, but you're also melting that powder. And that powder, Jay, is a dry adhesive. And so you melt that adhesive into the ink, and that's how we're going to adhere to a polyester shirt or a variety of other products. Actually, someone I was talking to this weekend was going to do some polyester bags with this technology.
Looks good, Tim.
There you go.
Love it. So what are we doing next, Tim?
So basically, at this point, you're ready to transfer it to a shirt. Unfortunately, I have misplaced my poly shirt. Hold on a second. Let me grab another one
Live
here.
television. But Jay, and
Sorry about that.
Oh, he's back. You got a poly shirt?
I do.
Awesome.
Basically, we're going to take this shirt now and put it onto our dryer now, or our heat press. So this heat press does have the bottom heater on. So I'm going to thread the shirt. We're going to take our transfer now, place it on the shirt, and just like DTG, we want to cover this graphic with a coated sheet. Now we're going to press this on medium pressure for about 15 seconds. And all you want to do here is remelt that powder and have it bind to the fabric. Remelt the adhesive layer, excuse me.
And Tim, what's the target time again, approximately?
About 15 seconds at
Okay.
340 degrees on a polyester shirt. So now that we have our adhesive layer melted to the shirt, we're going to take our shirt now, and I always like to cold peel this. So basically, we'll let this cool down a little bit. Basically, I say if you can hold your hand on there, you're good to peel it. It's a little warm.
Yeah, cold peel is definitely what we suggest. Let that adhesive bond complete.
Any of the transfer folks out there know you can roll up a t-shirt and rub it across there also to speed that cooling down. That's beautiful.
Wow. What does it say? Birds of a feather drink together. Terry, come on. Did you have him put that on there?
And that's 100% polyester. That's not a cotton t-shirt.
And what we should all see there is that the bright white on that garment. And also for our viewers, listeners, we've done multiple wash tests with this technology, and they wash beautifully, stay applied, stay bright.
And the other thing we were avoiding with this, both as a combination of the right ink, the right adhesive, the right temperature, and the right time, is to obviously we're trying to avoid any dye migration. Now, Terry, you know more about that than I do. And so it's not that this is, we've solved that problem, because it could still happen. But with the substrates we're using, and we've tested maroons and reds and, navies and so on and so forth. But it seems to be that if we can keep that temperature from being too hot, but we can still get that adhesive to bond, that we're avoiding the dye migration problem too.
Exactly right. And dye migration is the scourge of garment decorators, no matter what decoration method you're using, because under heat, the dye in the shirt will float into the ink and discolor it. So with this method, you would totally avoid that, and you get a really incredible print on a difficult substrate, which is 100% polyester. So, but Jay, here's the pro tip that I'm going to share. First of all, you have to make sure that the ink is completely dry. If you're just going on a cotton shirt, you could do this application and finish the drying as the adhesive is bonding to the shirt. If you don't have that ink completely dry on a polyester shirt, the dye migration might happen. So you have to make sure you have a completely dry, finished print before you apply it. But Jay, the technology for me is going to be in hat decoration.
What?
The one
What'd you
you're
say?
wearing right now. Exactly right.
Look at that. Well, let's give some thanks and some credit to everybody. Thank you, Tim and Jeff. What a great process. Obviously, we have a lot more. I'm going to sneak a few slides in. If there's nothing more for you guys to add, please let us know if there is. Before we cut you off, we'd love to hear from you.
I think we're good. I think we went through the whole thing, Jay.
Oh, you guys are wonderful. Thank you.
Awesome, guys.
We appreciate it, Jeff. Thanks, Tim. And so here's what we're going to do now. You can mute Equipment Zone in New Jersey if you don't mind. But two things that we were able to do is, and a lot of people are saying, hey, how does it feel? What does it feel like? You're going to need to get a sample. Does it feel like a transfer? Yes, in a way, but it's significantly thinner and it feels softer to me. And the reason I know that is because, Terry, can you see what I made last night?
I see that, Jay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And what about this little guy? Can you see this?
Yes, indeed. That looks
okay.
awesome.
So not only that, but guess what? We're constantly experimenting, and Roy and I were able to kind of figure this out. This is a sleeve print. And so you don't have to pre-treat these. This is 100% cotton, but we just wanted to figure out, like, if I were in production and I'm trying to figure out how could I get more volume out, I might have a sheet of these already done. And the feel is really soft. It feels less like screen printing. I don't know how to describe it. You're going to have to get a sample from us, I guess, is the best way I can describe that. But listen, we all know here at the office, they have a saying, if Jay can do it, anybody can do it. So I did need some help from Roy. He got things started for me, but I was able to heat press some items. And the results were phenomenal. And I was just so excited that we were going to be able to talk about this today and show this. And we have videos now that we're currently in the process of posting and producing. So stay tuned to our YouTube channel for more in-depth training. We have quick start guides. We recognize that some of you are going to have an F2100 printer, and you get to use the same ink, the same printer. You're just going to reverse the order in which you print and come out with a product that you can now easily apply to, I mean, what you said, tote bags. I mean, think about it, Terry. Poly tote bags, backpacks, headwear, hats. Yeah, impressive.
Yeah, Jay, when we were talking about, when I was mentioning talking to a customer with bags, they were actually just nylon little backpacks that they were actually giving away to homeless people with some food supplies and a blanket rolled up inside, and looking for the best way to decorate. And we started talking about DTF, and the customer never heard of it, and so decided that was the method they were going to use. And this is a regular. And again, that's their story to tell. They work with a charity who loads up the bags, and they donate the bags and print the bags and pass them out to homeless people in their community all the time. So
I love that.
It's kind of a cool deal, and
Super cool story.
a great example of how to use this technology.
So yeah, I took some photos while we were doing this the other day during our video shoot, and just so I got more intimate with the process. So you can see these were some of the, first we printed the CMYK, then we got the white color came out, and then we had, you saw Roy and you saw him doing the shake and bake with the salt shaker or the sugar shaker and rolling that thing back and forth, trying to make sure we've got an even application. I like that Roy came up with the sugar or shaker or salt shaker, because he was able to kind of apply it with a little more precision rather than just dump a bunch of powder onto a wet substrate, because that white ink is technically still a little bit wet, and it needs to be for the powder to stick to that. And then you can see we set it on the heat press, and then that powder goes from a dry powder, and it kind of turns to almost a liquid. And if you see that picture on the left, you can see it looks almost like an orange peel effect. That's when we know we've done it right, according to Roy and everybody else who's been testing this. The image in the middle is the transfer sheet with all of those logos on it, and the image to the right are some of the logos we just heat pressed. Again, this was on a cotton shirt just for the purposes of going through the process. But as you saw Tim successfully apply, and we've been wash testing these over and over and over again. And the shirt I just showed with the sleeve print, I've washed that already twice and dried it twice. Stretchy, didn't crack, just as vibrant as when we applied it. So the colors are significantly, impressive, Terry. I know I'm gushing, but I was just like, wow, like it was a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jay, you showed your hat there, but with direct to garment printing, there are hat attachments, and we sell two where you can print on the front of a hat and even on the bill, but you're limited in the kinds of hats you can do. With this, all you need is a hat heat press, and you can basically apply a full color graphic to most any hat, do them in sheets so that it's, all you have to do is cut them apart and use a little heat tape to hold them in place. I think it's going to be revolutionary in hat decoration. And I might be the only one on that hill right now, but
no, you're not.
A lot more people are going to be joining me.
I am already there with you, buddy. We'll raise that flag together, because, I'm a hat wear guy and I'm a freak for cool headwear. So, but the truth is that, again, I know I'm restating this, but just imagine, I'm trying to put myself in our customer's shoes. Okay, I already own the printer. I don't have to buy a new one. I already have ink. I don't have to change out inks or do anything different with the inks. I already have the software, Garment Creator. I don't have to use anything else. Is the system easier or more simple, or do you get other benefits if you have a RIP software like Easy RIP Pro? Sure you do. Of course you do. But I can use the tools I have and make these transfers and cut them out ahead of time. And I'm going to have 50 transfers, and they only take 15 seconds to heat, peel. I hit this again after I did the transfer, I heated it up again and hit it for another 15 to 30 seconds because I just didn't want it to come off. So whether that's part of the program or in the instructions, I don't know, but that's what I did. And it did not damage the product. It looked bright. In fact, when I sent the photo of me wearing this to my kids last night, Sawyer goes, "That's photoshopped."
Because
like,
they know you, Jay.
They didn't think I actually made something. So yeah, and it's pretty cool that this is something that is going to repurpose your existing equipment and give you a broader reach. And that's what Jeff Baxter was talking about. And that's what he's been working on. He and Tim have been working on this like for months and months, with the software, with the products, with the films, with the transfers themselves and the printers themselves. And so tip my cap to those guys. They've been working hard back there, and we appreciate every minute of it, don't we?
And it's easy for us to sit here and watch. Well, that is easy. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Wham, you're done.
Yeah.
Except for they had 837 steps in between to make it work.
Dozens and dozens and dozens of mistakes that they made to get to this point. But other than that, it's simple. And I got to throw Roy into that too, because he was so helpful yesterday. And we've been going back and forth. And, you know, I'll see something, I'm saying, why did it do that? He's like, I don't know. I've never seen it before. This is the third time I've done it, kind of a thing. But
it's a scientific method. Okay, well, that way didn't work, so we don't have to try that again. That way didn't work. We don't have to try that again.
Exactly. All right. So my friend, it's up to us now. One of the things that we've done well, I think, again, not to pat ourselves on the back, but we have some time to talk together a little bit about this, this next session, right? So we only have a few minutes, if I'm not mistaken, Terry. Will you look at your I don't want to mess this up again, but we've got a print index, and we have 10 minutes now before we get our next live demonstration at 2:45. So because this is something we've covered, I'm going to share my screen and let you kind of jump in and go for it.
Yeah, sure. And Jay, the whole purpose of the print index, and if anybody wants to go into detail on this, we have 5 separate sessions that we did as webinars talking about the print index. But, to get an ideal print, you need to do a couple of things on your end. With say, for instance, I'll go back to screen printing. It's very, very forgiving. With direct-to-garment printing, your substrate, there are a lot of factors that enter into getting a great print. With direct-to-garment printing, for instance, the image you have on the screen there is high resolution and low resolution. As a screen printer, low resolution, I can kind of get away with that. With a direct-to-garment printer, where I'm showing a lot of detail, I really need that 300 DPI image saved at full size. Jay, do you have a slide there with?
Yep.
Yes, you do. There's our index. So graphic wise, the ideal scenario to get a 10 on the scale is 300 DPI image saved at full size. Start with a good quality piece of artwork. At the other end of it is most of the files we get off the internet, 72 DPI. These printers will duplicate exactly what it is that we want to print. And if we give it a low res file, it's going to print us a low res file. And I know there are companies out there that say our printer will fix that. They won't. You have to start with a good file.
They won't. Trust me, when Terry says they won't, that's time tested, and that means it's Terry approved. It's not going to happen.
Yes, exactly.
Well, look at this. I wanted to share this because a lot of folks need to see this visually. This applies to all apparel decoration, but specifically screen printing and DTG printing. It's really important that you understand these cotton fibers, how they're made, the difference between carded and open end, and something that's 100% combed and ring spun. Ring spun is what's going to give us that super tight weave, and it's going to lay down all those fibers. I mean, just look at the first image of the top left. As soon as I see all those little hairs poking out, I start to get itchy, Terry. I don't know about you.
Exactly right, Jay. And as I was mentioning before, with direct-to-garment printing, you can get very, very fine detail. Well, think about printing a fine detail on the one on the left, or think about getting a much better fine detail on the one on the right. Just gives us a better surface to print on.
It's true. So that's really what we're talking about now, is that substrate. And so as we just saw, DTF now can help us with polyester, but in a traditional DTG format, Terry, what are we looking for?
Well, exactly. The ideals, can I make a 50-50 work? I can make a saleable product. That's as much as we can say about that. Tri-blends, we can get good prints. 100% cotton, I can get probably a print that 95% of our customers would say, well, that's okay. My customer will feel good about that. 100% ring spun cotton is going to give us that perfect ideal print.
Yeah, and we need that. And then we're going to have to pre-treat it. So I flashed up a picture of the pre-treatment, which is the next indicator, because if you don't pre-treat these garments correctly, what do we've got, Terry? We
Well,
pretty much have a mess.
exactly. And unlike other decoration methods, properly pre-treating is going to impact our final print. Too much pre-treat is what most people do. I saw a video recently talking about, well, obviously you need more pre-treat. That's almost never the answer. More pre-treat is almost never the answer. On the low end here, using a paint roller, the Hobby Lobby method of pre-treating, way too much pre-treat. On the ideal end, and number 10 is a closed automatic pre-treat machine. It's going to give you consistent pre-treat from garment to garment. Closed system is going to protect your printer from getting pre-treat onto that print head and causing a clogging issue.
Love that. And the next thing we talk about that environment, when you say you don't want that mist spraying everywhere, but whether you say setting or environment, your location, this is critical.
Right, exactly right. And with direct-to-garment printing, unlike any other decoration method, having proper humidity is critical. Having 40% plus humidity is critical in the process. Having a clean working environment, doing a nozzle check every morning before you start printing. That's what we recommend you do. Quick, to the points, just to see if everything's firing properly. But the key is office type environment, like Amy was talking about before. If you're comfortable, your printer's comfortable, that humidity level is critical, and not just for clogging, Jay, but for keeping the machine running consistently. Because if the humidity level's too low, printers, all direct-to-garment printers, will do additional head cleanings through the day automatically to keep that print head cooled down.
Love that. And it's important that we have all of these things, and they're starting to stack up. And you're going to see when I show this next slide, but this is really, at the top of the food chain. Like if you've done everything else right, but you don't get this step, nothing matters, because you ultimately have to cure that ink.
Exactly right, Jay. That's a water-based ink. It would eventually air dry, but for washability, you must heat set the ink. If you properly cure the ink, and that's by using a professional heat press or a conveyor dryer, either will work equally well. By doing that, getting the proper temperature, evaporating all the water from that ink, you're going to get a permanent print. And what do we mean by permanent print? 50 plus washings without any degradation of that print. That's what you should be getting. I've got shirts, Jay, I'm sure you do too, that have been washed 100 times, still maintain that print. This shirt's been washed dozens and dozens of times. And so properly curing with a professional heat press or conveyor dryer is the key.
It is. And here's everything stacked up that Terry and I just reviewed. This is what we call the easy DTG printing index, which is not easy to say, but DTG printing index, we have the graphics, the substrate, the pre-treat, the environment, and then the cured. Obviously, our goal is to get 50 points out of 50. We created this just to give you some visualization that all of these moving parts have to be addressed and dealt with. And this is the type of training and the understanding that you're going to get with Equipment Zone. So having said that, Terry, guess what? We are almost back on schedule and almost ready. With just a couple of minutes we went over, but we've got Vanessa getting ready to line up this next session for us, which is our next demonstration. And so the reality, before we go too far, Terry, I want to make sure everybody knows that we can send that. We have a PDF, so you and Amy and Jeff Baxter, you all have that guide. So Roy's got a copy of it. And as you said, we did almost 30 to 40 minutes in a webinar on each of those topics. So if you'd like to go back to our YouTube channel and get deeper information on each of those sections, that is available to you on our YouTube channel. So, all right. So we're talking next about Garment Creator and the Easy Rip Pro. We're going to get Jeff and Tim back on. And if they're ready, Vanessa, I think we're ready. Here we go.
Right, Jay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Perfect.
Awesome. Then we are ready to go.
Okay, it's working out. Man, you guys are like a well-oiled machine. I'm so glad you're there, Vanessa. We couldn't do this without you. Everybody who's still here listening needs to know that.
So I think we're going to talk here about Garment Creator versus our new product, which is an Easy Rip Pro. We're going to take a look at both. We're just going to do a quick screenshot to show you. Tim's going to share his screen. We want to show the Garment Creator.
Garment Creator here.
So here we go. This is Garment Creator. If you are currently working with the Epson equipment or you're going to add it in, this is the program that comes with the printer. It's a great program. It's easy to work with. It's wildly intuitive. There's certainly nothing wrong with it. In fact, I've worked on an awful lot of printers over the years that came with their own package software that wasn't even close to the quality of this. Very easy to use. It allows you to change your quality of print, the intensity of the print, from a black shirt to a white shirt, to resize it, to physically move it around where you want. So it's a great program. So this is what comes with the system, and this is what we would normally be using. But we've also added a new program, which is an add-on. It's an additional charge, but this would be what we're calling Easy Rip Pro. And it's a custom rip program that we've added and that we put together ourselves. This just gives us a lot more control and adds some features, allowing us to do a whole lot more with the machine than what you would be able to do with Garment Creator. And again, not that there's anything wrong with Garment Creator, but this allows you to do some other things. So what we're talking about is a bunch of additional features that you can do with this program. So to go through some of the features and benefits real quick is the way that it attacks the creation of the white underbase. So I've got a couple different shirts here. This is created in Garment Creator. This is Garment Creator. If we can go back to sharing the camera. Okay. Am I back up? Okay, can you see this okay, Jay?
Yeah,
My
so
shirt I'm holding?
yep. So if you can walk a little closer to the camera, or if the camera can zoom in, there you go. Perfect. So that's
so one thing you can see here. It looks great. This was done in Garment Creator, but if we look at the outer edges where it's supposed to fade out to nothing, where the vignettes come into place, it doesn't really go. It has a tendency to kind of leave a spot of white around the edges. Now I've got another print here that was done in our Easy Rip Pro, and you can see that it is a much cleaner, easier, better fade out in the vignette areas. It also used substantially less white ink to come up with the same basic look. What it's doing is analyzing the shirt, using the shirt as an integral part of the design, not printing white ink. What this does is it makes the print substantially cheaper. So you're using a lot less ink to create the same basic print quality. Actually, I like this quality a little bit better. This print, which was done in Garment Creator, cost 99 cents to print. The same print done through Easy Rip Pro was 59 cents, and I think it's a better print. So it's a way to save money. It's a way to increase the quality. It also will have a tendency, and especially in your critical colors. I'll get back a little bit here so you can actually see. But in your critical colors, your neutral grays, your flesh tones, it will give you a much more accurate rendition of those colors. A lot of times neutral grays will lean maybe red, maybe they'll lean blue. You'll get an absolute neutral by using this system. So benefits are less expensive, better print quality, certainly better vignettes on your fade outs. And advantages, it's a great way to create DTF transfers. We just did transfers a few minutes ago. This was one that was created. Whenever you make the transfer, we've got to take our machine, usually prints white ink and drops the color over the top. And then we have to mirror image it. So basically what we're going to do here is we're switching the print order from white to color. We're going colors first, then dropping the white. And we're also mirror imaging. It's very easy to do in the RIP. It's 2 or 3 clicks, whether you're on an F2100 or a 3070. And 3070 is actually more difficult because it's a single pass printer. It wants to print both CMYK and white in one pass. We can't create a transfer. We can't reverse the print order on that. So we can actually create it, take it back to being a 2-pass printer and add the reverse order and the mirror image all at the same time. So it allows us to do DTF really easily, whether we're on the 2100 or on the 3070. And probably the last, and one of my favorite features is that we've also taken this and been able to add some workflow automation, which is a separate program. It's not part of the RIP, but the RIP allows us to add workflow automation, which lets us use a barcode where we can just scan a barcode and instantly load that artwork into the machine. I'll give you, Vanessa, can we pan in on this just a little bit so I can show you? Basically, even if you've got a fleet of machines, we can use the barcode scanner. We scan the machine to enter it. We scan the design we want to run, which that barcode could be anywhere. It could be on the shirt, it could be on the work order. It's already loaded the design, it's ready to print. No decisions had to be made print side. So the printer only scans the barcode. You can't print the wrong design on the wrong shirt. It loads instantly, there's no rip time, and it's always the right design on the right shirt for the right print. So it's just a very quick, easy way to automate the process. If I had 5 of these machines, I could just scan the machine, which then identifies that as the machine I'm using. And then the image, because I've scanned the machine, it'll route that image directly to it. And again, we can put the barcode on the shirt. We can put the barcode on a work order. We can put it on a piece of paper here with 22 designs on it. It's our own product line. So it really automates the process. And it does require EasyRep Pro to be able to add what we call the workflow automation system.
Excellent. That's really cool, Jeff. That's a big deal. I know you guys have been working hard on that for quite a while. And it's one of these things where it all came together, and we're lucky to have you there, because not only can you describe it, but you understand it, which is way over my head.
So we think it's a really exciting addition to the product line. Not something you have to have, but basically for the power user, it takes you up a step or two on what your capabilities are with your equipment.
Wow, look at that print. Well, Jeff, is there anything else that we should know about the EasyRip Pro software? I'm going to share my screen for just a second and let folks take a quick look at this. This is what they're looking for on our website. Is that visible onto your monitors? Can you see that, Jeff?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And so is there anything else, Jeff? We've got about a minute or two before Adrian pops in and we have that next interview. But, some of these talking points, people really don't, I think. Oh, let me see that. Let's look. Let me stop sharing. Right on.
So we can show you the box. There you go. You've got your EasyRip Pro in a very cool little magnetically sealed box that I can't open, but if I could, I would show you that it has really cool stuff inside. So we've got your both your RIP and your security dongle for your printer inside it.
Okay, so it's based on a security key or a dongle, correct?
It does require a dongle. Yep, it does.
So and so could I operate multiple machines with one key, or do I need to have, how does that work?
It does require that you have one license per machine. However, we can add additional licenses. So if you have 5 F-3070s, you would need one license for each of those, or 5 licenses, which can then be added to your single dongle. One dongle, multiple licenses. So we would have a dongle updater that would be sent to you to add those additional licenses.
And so where will people go for support or training for this software?
We offer it. We have a nice starter manual. We have over 600 pages of online help files with the system. But we also have our guys right here that can walk you through it. Tim's an expert on it. Omar's an expert on it. So we do have technical backup, as Roy is as well. So we have full technical backup as well as lots of documentation.
Excellent.
It looks like we're trying to compete with our good friends at Apple on that packaging too.
Absolutely.
Oh, let's not get too carried away, you guys. Well, Jeff, that was a wonderful presentation. I know that there will be more to come, and there are lots of videos that people can now watch on our YouTube channel to get more information. So we would recommend them to do that, right? So if that's it, and it sounds like it is, we're finished with our great friends in New Jersey. And we want to say thank you again to Tim and to Jeff and Vanessa. But we're going to transition now. You can go ahead and mute those mics.
Omar and Amy.
Thanks, Amy. I see Tim and Amy. Is it like a romper room episode? Does that date me when we say I can see Jeff,
It does date you.
I can see Terry and Harry and Vanessa? All right, I won't get carried away. Too late. Well, let's do this. Vanessa, you can put it on mute. We'll just leave that long shot in the camera, but we're about ready to welcome on our next guest speaker, our VIP, saving the best for last, Adrian Palmer, who you can see her screen, but she's about to come on live. Hey, there you are.
Here I am.
Here-
VIP. I like to hear it. Very nice. Thank you.
Well, it's true. I mean, I might be in marketing and I do have the gift of spin, but I do tell the truth. So,
Adrian, your office there at Screen Printing Magazine looks quite plush.
Well, it is my home. So my kitchen island and my kitchen living room space. Yeah.
well, we are indeed grateful for your time and for you joining us, taking a few minutes of your day. Look at you. You're our VIP closer. We've got some information. Can't wait to dive into. And so we just can't say thank you enough for joining us because, well, the truth is I have recently been just falling in love with the information in Screen Printing Magazine. And I know that's going to sound like a commercial and you won't be mad at me, but the truth is I've seen a change in the last probably 2 years. And I've seen you at maybe not you personally, but as a team embracing a little bit more of the digital side and seeing that there's a home for both and that they can complement each other. So I just wanted to give you that feedback live in front of all of our guests. And Terry and I already kind of talked about this. I don't know, you were probably busy doing your own thing, but Terry was saying the same thing earlier, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's Screen Printing Magazine, and obviously the granddaddy of them all, but was not always very garment oriented. In the last couple of years, you guys have certainly embraced all aspects of garment decorating, and it's doing some really, really exciting things over there.
Well, thank you both so much. I'm just going to listen to this every morning to pump myself up and say on the right track. No, that's really great to hear. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. And we noticed it. And I'm sure a lot of our folks that are tuned in will want to know where to go and I have a few things so they can go back online and find the digital version and as well subscribe and pay attention to your website because you have a lot of great resources. And I love what you've been doing recently with some of the interviews, some of the data, some of the surveys that you're doing. Speaking of surveys, that was really kind of our hot button for why we wanted to bring you on today. And I'm not sure, maybe you could give us a little bit of the backstory, Adrian, of why the magazine, and I don't know if this was your direction or as a team, but why would you want to tackle some of these, these digital type, DTG, inkjet technology topics? What's going on at Screen Printing Magazine?
Yeah. So really to kind of even go back maybe a little bit further, at Screen Printing Magazine, we have a really great relationship with Keypoint Intelligence, and they're our go-to for all things research related. I was actually on a call with them for a big picture magazine related topic, and I was introduced to Mike Bertini, who was brought on about a year ago as director of textile and direct to garment, direct to fabric printing. So we immediately, started to talk about, what kind of surveys we can do for the screen printing audience. And I think this was really coming off the heels of some of the webinars Jay, you and I had done with Jeremy Picker too, specifically on DTG. So it just seemed like a great topic to continue digging into. And I think what's best about this audience and our magazine is we're always looking for ways to grow your business. And so if that's adding on new technology, new equipment, we want to be on the forefront of things. And DTG definitely seems like, part of our soon future, if not now, for some screen printers. So it's like, why don't we dig into this and not just be pigeonholed to one thing?
Gotcha. Love that flexibility that you're adding on some staff to give that focus and give it some love. I'm going to flash on the screen one more time. Sorry, it's going to be you at first. So you're just going to have to get used to it because I know that's always fun. But here's what I want folks to know is that they can go check this out. You have your October, November issue still there. I like that you're calling it the DigiMag. But that you're exploring and you're innovating and you're trying to learn new techniques and where screen printing fits and where digital fits and where they complement each other. And so I love that backstory and the fact that you're able to join us again today and that you mentioned the survey and your partnership with is it Key Point? Do I say that right? Key
Yeah,
Point?
Key Point Intelligence. Yeah. We do all of our surveys through them, and it's a really good partnership. And hopefully we're looking to do some more surveys related to screen printing in the future. And I'm laughing at your DigiMag comment. We really weren't sure what we wanted to call this. Somebody threw out e-zine, and I just felt like I was like in 1995. And so I said no to that. And so DigiMag was like the next best thing. And I haven't come up with, usually I just say digital edition.
I'm just going to embrace it. DigiMag. I like it. It was fresh. It was new.
Jay's just going to keep repeating it till it sticks.
It's the coolest damn DigiMag I've ever read. So
that's probably, the only place you've ever seen that. But some of our sister publications use it. So we're like, we'll try it. It's better than e-zine.
E-zine is not easy to say, easy. And we say easy all the time, as you know, but
easy would get too complicated with e-zine.
It does.
Doesn't fit.
All right, well, let's shift gears a little, because Terry and I were super interested in some of this data that you had recently come across. I'm going to kick it over to my pal, Terry.
Yeah, absolutely. Jay and I were really talking quite a bit about this. One of the topics was the top DTG purchasing factors. So can you talk to us a little bit about that, the data you discovered?
So among owners of DTG printing devices, and this does not include toner transfer, the top 3 factors determining which brand and model to purchase were print quality, ease of use, and print speed. Purchasing price and technical support tied at 4th on the list. And as you can see, things like workflow automation, total cost of ownership, and warranty fell below. You'll see RIP software was last. So price is important, but not as important as quality and production ease and speed.
I love that. And nobody was more excited to find that than Terry, to see that purchase price was not at the top of the list.
Well, and it's one of the things we talk about in all types of garment decorating. It's never about the price. It's always about the quality. It's always about efficiency. It's always about, for end user people selling the product, it's always about delivering on time, do good work, deliver on time. And it's the same kind of concept, I think. And obviously this is what the purchasers are looking at as well.
I think about those print quality at the top. I mean, overwhelmingly at the top of the list. Like, how does this actually, what does this feel like? What does this look like? When I think of print quality, I'm thinking about the feel in the hand, if that makes any sense. I don't know. Maybe I'm just out there, but
no, actually we studied in the survey. We also asked them, what does that mean? And so those print quality factors that are needed are washability and durability, vibrant colors, print resolution, and exactly what you're saying, Jay, print hand feel.
Well, smart. See, I wasn't crazy after all, Terry. So that breakdown is important. And I think that our viewers, and they're going to see this. We have a lot of folks who come to us and they're just like, I'm just not sure. I'm just not ready. Or is DTG really that important? Is it going to be around? And I'm like, have you met Terry Combs? Because it's been around for a while, right, Terry? That's my...
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And no, I did not invent screen printing, although I've been accused of that recently.
I didn't say that, Adrian, for the record. I never claimed that Terry invented screen printing. But when we think about this, and we think about people getting ready to make this investment in their business, or for some people, this is where they start. And for other people, you've got 2 camps. You kind of got, I'm already an apparel decorator and I want to add this. Or, a lot of our customers come to us because they see what automatic screen printing looks like, or even manual screen printing looks like. And they're like, oh, that looks a lot more complex. But what can you tell us about, that mix, or any of the driving factors that people are trying to add DTG into their lives?
Yeah, we found that personalization is really big for people who are wanting to do short runs. It seems like the perfect option. No pre-press setup, so you're not dealing with film or screens, which, as you mentioned, can maybe be a little intimidating for people coming in and seeing the process of true screen printing. No ink mixing or press setup time, unlimited number of colors, and then again, that quality, the high resolution output. Those are definitely, I would say, the main driving factors for people who are interested.
Well, those are a big deal. Terry, what have you got as a follow-up? I mean, that pretty much just threw your screen printing training class right down the you know what.
My screen printing classes still sell out. I'll tell you this, and I will. Well, I'll tell you. Let me add to that. When I first saw direct-to-garment printing, which was coming up on 18 years ago, and coming from the screen printing world, I thought this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. This is going to be the perfect addition to my screen printing business. And screen printers, when I first started going to trade shows and talking DTG, screen printers are like, say it ain't so. I don't want to know about this. You mean I spent 20 years learning to do separations and set up screens, and this is entirely a different segment of the marketplace. Screen printers aren't going anywhere, but this is the perfect addition to a screen printing shop. So what I'm curious about, because 18 years ago, I said, if I were still an active screen printer, if I was still running a production shop, I would bring a dozen of these machines in. But what are the reasons that screen printers are saying in your survey for reasons that they're not ready yet to do DTG printing?
Yeah, and Terry, I really like that. I think a good term here is addition. I think there's a lot of conversation that DTG might just take over screen printing in a couple of years. I don't personally believe that. And I don't, I was just on a board meeting last week with the Screen Printing Editorial Advisory Board, and we're having those conversations, but I don't, people are pretty much on the side that it's not going to take over. But so I think addition is a great word, but you're right. The people who were surveyed, they mentioned lack of customer interest. So they're having those conversations with their clients, quality concerns, which again, print quality was the number one reason, people were interested in buying to begin with. Reliability, maintenance, and total cost of ownership expenses. So they're worried they're just going to be spending a ton of money. And then not far behind were cost per print, and then just overall lack of interest in handling small runs. So maybe some screen printers are, they don't do 20 shows. That's not part of their business. So there's really no interest for them.
Yeah, we've met a lot of apparel decorators who are not interested at all in the 1 or 2 or 3 units. They are interested in the 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 units, which was why screen printing will never really go away. But Terry, how often do we talk to a screen printer who sits there and says no? How many times did I say no when someone would walk into my shop and I was like, nope, sorry, can't do, or we learn to say, well, for $150, I can print you that first shirt.
Yeah. It's interesting because when I was first doing trade shows, talking DTG with people, and those screen printers who said, say it ain't so, a year later, back going through the same circuit of shows, those same screen printers would come up to me and say, until I saw this machine last year, I didn't realize how many times I said no to people. And every time I said no, I thought, if I had that machine, I could do that 17-piece family reunion order. And let me add to that. It is 2021. The marketplace has changed. Jay, you mentioned before, it is an Amazon world. I want one, I want it custom, I want it now. That's even on the grand scale of screen printing, because my friends out there in the screen printing industry that are running 8 and 10 automatic presses, they're coming to me saying, that customer that bought 10,000 pieces from me last year of one print, they're coming back to me and they're saying, I don't want to order 10,000 pieces. I want to order 500 pieces, or I want to order 100 pieces. And next week I want to order 100 more. And next week I want to order 100 more, because I don't want to be the warehouse anymore. I don't want to send this to our outlet store, Tanger Outlets, about a mile from here. I don't want to send it to the outlet store. I want you to take responsibility for my inventory. And as I need it, I want to order it from you. And those same people are coming back saying, maybe I need to get an Epson F3070 that'll print 50, 60 pieces an hour to fill that part of my marketplace. Now, those 10,000 people customers aren't going away, but the market is shrinking. Now, when I say shrinking, obviously garment decorating is exploding even more, but the size of the order is shrinking. And I think that's the future. I think it's now, and I think it's for now forward.
I would agree. I would agree. What do you say that, Adrian? Do you have any info there to corroborate what Mr. Combs, our esteemed colleague, has shared?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of turn it around and think of, if I'm the customer and say I have a relationship with a screen printer and I am ordering 10,000 shirts here and there, 50,000 shirts. If I'm having some small event that's personal and I want, 10 shirts, I'd much rather go to the person that I know and hope that they can do it for me instead of having to go online and find something, because what we've been talking about, the quality is not going to be there and you're not really going to be happy with it. And then so it's like better to have that relationship already. And yeah, it's always that fine line. Do you want to be the one-stop shop that you can offer everything to everyone, or are you going to stick with your niche? And I think it really depends on the screen printer. You need to find what works for you. But if you keep having the same customers come in and asking for those 10, 20, 30 shirts, and it's an easy financial decision for you to purchase a DTG printer, and you're losing out on those customers because now they've found someone who is that one-stop shop, then you really need to reconsider and kind of look into this.
Yeah, 100%. And not to sow the seeds of doubt, but if all things being equal, I have two friends and one, they both have automatic screen printing capabilities and they can do 1,000 shirts an hour. Hallelujah. But if I only needed 100 of something, or if I had a team and I want to have everyone have a different name and I go down that personalization route, I'm going to go where I can get it. I need it. I am the buyer and I'm going to find somebody who can do it for me. So I would end up going to my other friend who could do both versions. And I think that's the point you're making. So I might be restating what you just said. And now that I say it, it sounds not as good, but
you always want to have some kind of...
I think it's that personalization piece, because here's what I would tell that screen printer. I would say, don't purchase or invest in the DTG just because of the small run orders. That's one component. But the second component is, what can you do with it now that you have it? So can you do prototype work? Can you do marketing? And can you do campaigning? Could you surprise and delight your customer base by making something for them without them asking? Just one full color, design, or to me, it's having the opportunity to use the technology to, delight, to surprise, to enlighten, and to use that innovation to its strength, rather than just say, well, my customers never ask me for that. Well, your customer probably doesn't know you're capable of it. So you can only put this on your customers so much, right?
And let me give you another example, and it's that sponsored event where, and we've all gotten that shirt, you're doing some kind of a run and there's a print on the front, and on the back are all the sponsors. And what are they printed in? All in white. With a direct-to-garment printer, you can screen print all those fronts and on the back, do all those sponsors in DTG in full color, just the way that logo was supposed to be. And for a screen printer to do that, that's a 15, 20 color print that almost no one's capable of doing. But on DTG, you can just run all those shirts, DTG on the back, screen print on the front. So lots of opportunities there for screen printers that are open-minded, I believe.
Terry is such a peacemaker. You see what he did there, Adrian? He was able to say, screen print the front, DTG the back. I love it. Come join me together. He's like the mysterious man of mullets. Party in the back, business in the front. But anyway, we're getting off track. It's probably because we've been on this for 2.5 hours already. But before we let you go, Adrian, thank you again. I do want to ask you, was there anything else that stood out in the survey? Was there anything else that you learned, or something that was like, whoa, I didn't know that before?
Okay, well, two things. I think one, I was really surprised. I know we already talked this, but maybe just happy to see that quality is more of a concern than price. I really like to see that, because I just think that means, our industry is in the right direction and thinking of the customer and thinking of the right thing. But I do want to pull up one thing, and it's the last thing that Mike said in the article that we do have on screenprintingmag.com. He's going to say it better than I can. Is it okay if I just read it?
Absolutely. You can quote Mike. I love that.
Okay. So he said that DTG can be complex and difficult to integrate without the right business model, clientele, and an understanding of digital printing's modern day capabilities. Many screen printers have misconceptions about DTG from a quality and reliability standpoint based on past experience and word of mouth. It's essential for screen printers as well as equipment OEMs to continue educating each other on the innovations required to grow their businesses together. Knowledge is power, and in his opinion, knowledge of current DTG technologies should be at the top of everyone's list.
Oh, could we agree more with that, Terry?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, knowledge is power, and at the top of everyone's apparel decoration list should be to figure this out, which is exactly why we had this training session and this having you on as one of our special guests, Adrian, was to be able to hopefully be of help and be a resource and be a guide, not just another sales company that's trying to say buy X over Y. We have lots of friends in the industry that have other brands on their machines, and we feel like it would be a disservice for us to throw them under the bus. More importantly is to say, do you trust us? Come on board, check it out, see for yourself, investigate, do your homework, be a student of the game. And so your survey provided that. Mike's article was great. You're obviously being able to share with us some of those highlights has been important today. Terry, I don't know about you, but I think this was pretty much a home run closer.
Absolutely. And especially since Adrian is a fellow Ohio University alum.
I knew you were going to bring that up again. I knew it. Well, Adrian, where should people? Yeah, Ohio. I'm going to share my screen again and go backwards just so we can flash up there. Here's where people can go: screenprintingmag.com/digital. Get that DigiMag and check out their resources online. They have news, they have how-to articles. They do a lot with education, and I would highly recommend that you subscribe. That's my commercial for you. But is there anything else people should know, Adrian, that you want to say and close us with?
No, that was great. Thank you, Jay. Screenprintingmag.com. Our latest digital edition just came out a little bit ago, and we'll have our special December end of year issue going live at the beginning of December. We're always doing new stuff, websites updated all the time, and it's great to be on virtual events like this where we can, talk about new endeavors for screen printers and just help them grow their business. So thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, it's our pleasure. You were the gift. And when you say talk about, all I could think of was tacos, but we'll save that for another day, which was the last place we ran into each other was at the Made Lab event, which was super cool.
Very true. I have a picture of Jay getting ready to order his taco. I was like, this is too good.
Yeah, surprise. No one was surprised with that. All right, Adrian, we'll let you get back to life. We want to say thanks again for being here. And so you can just click off and you're out. And Terry and I have a few more things to discuss. But for now, we'll see you soon. Thanks, Adrian.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
How awesome is that, Terry?
It's so cool when like magazines like Screen Printing do these surveys, and I think not only for the end customer there, I think it makes all of us think a little bit. And as Adrian was talking, I'm thinking maybe it's time in 2021 coming into 2022 to kind of reintroduce what DTG printing is, what it's capable of doing, because obviously there are people out there who had maybe a taste of DTG 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And that's what in their heads they think about when they talk about durability, when they talk about print quality. And maybe it's time to say, hey, take another look at direct-to-garment printing. It's not what it was 15, 10, even 5 years ago.
I was just going to say the same thing, and I flashed up on the screen a couple of the statistics I failed to show. So let's close with this. I mean, if you think about which of the following types of screen printing equipment does your company own, I was kind of taken by the fact that according to their survey, 60% said they have both a manual and an automatic press. 23% said manual only. 11% said automatic only. And then there's that kind of non-screen printing company who's doing full digital, only digital, or others that were included. But if 18% of the market right now, and I don't know if it's 16, 18, 20, this could be slightly skewed. Let's give it I feel like I'm one of those, politician dudes on CNN or Fox, well, according to the, plus or minus 4%, it's within the tolerance of the, I don't know what I'm saying, but you know what I'm saying? When you don't know, it could be skewed one way or to the other. But thinking about our industry and that, 16 to 18% have invested in DTG, it's like wow, I don't know if I feel like what are the rest of them waiting for, or maybe it's just not a good fit for them, So
And Jay, there will always be that. There are always going to be those shops that only do, maybe it'll be DTF. That's all they ever are going to do. That is their slice of the marketplace. But I think that today's decorator, the vast majority need to be in at least 2 technologies, if not more. I mean, I think it's difficult to compete today if you're, say, a screen printer, since we just had Screen Printing Magazine, a screen printer, you have to be in DTG or sublimation or embroidery or some other technology to compete out there in the marketplace. And gosh, DTG is such a natural addition to any other type of decoration out there that it only makes sense for so many people. And maybe we aren't telling the story well enough out there, Jay. And once the trade shows fire up again here in the beginning of 2022, maybe that's the opportunity for all of us as decorators, of all of us as industry experts or industry advocates that we need to get out there and maybe retell the story of direct-to-garment printing.
I think you're right. And I think with the few minutes we have remaining, first, I want to thank everybody again for those that were able to hang with us the whole time. You deserve an award. You deserve a cold adult beverage or a taco or a brownie or whatever you're into. So thank you. We couldn't do this without you. You are the reason that we do this. And we hope that you were able to pick up a tip and some insights. We try really hard to deliver more than just the information because you can find the information. So what we're trying to do is bring, a little bit of empathy and a little bit of training and some insights and some opinions, because the truth is we may not have all the answers, but we think we know most of the answers as it relates to apparel decoration and DTG printing specific. And I wanted to bring up this photo for a reason, because I'll never forget this day. Because there were at least 15 people. This was one of the last live DTG training academies we did in New Jersey. I think it was almost, it's coming up on over 2.5 years. Right. And I remember this gentleman because he was like, pretty much, nah, this can't be done. You can't do that. And he was like, kind of like, I want to be nice and I want to be polite. He was kind of like the curmudgeon-y, kind of old, little grumpy, and I was like, why is this guy even here? Like, did you just, and then we got to know him and we got to hear his story. And about halfway through the day, his demeanor completely changed. He felt more comfortable with us. We weren't trying to convince him. We were trying to show him, like we were trying to say, here's the evidence. We're not trying to get you to buy this. We're just saying this is what's possible. And then when we did those denim jackets, which also he said, nah, you can't print right over those seams. That's never going to work. Well, guess what we did? We did it anyway.
Picture.
Yeah, we did it anyway. And we posted that photo, I don't know, a couple 100 times. And it was one of my favorite days. So training like this, I hope that our listeners and our audience can hopefully feel the spirit in which we're sharing. Terry, you do such a great job, as does the rest of our team, the folks that are behind the scenes, the Roys, the Vanessas, the other folks that were involved, Amy and Tim and Jeff. And we got to give credit to Harry for giving us enough rope to either try this out and hang ourselves or try this out and make it work. I don't know. I think it did work. What do you think?
I think so too, Jay. And I want to thank you and congratulate you, because you're the idea behind this and pulling all these moving parts together across 3 time zones. Was no easy task. So congratulations to you. And I think it's been a great event and wonderful guests and excellent demos. And I see they're still going strong over there.
I was just going to say, it looks like our event in New Jersey is still going. The questions are there, and we've got a couple of minutes, maybe 2 or 3. So I'm just gonna click through here, and I want to say, Charles, thank you. Daniel, I saw a lot of comments from Daniel. Thank you for all of those comments and questions. Eddie's here. Our friend Gustav from Sweden's still here. There's some strange man named Harry Oster that's been here the whole time. I don't know what's going on. Awfully quiet. Jamie, thanks. Katie, Kevin, I'm going alphabetically because that's the order in which I can see these. But, to Larry, Lou is here, Mary, Mitch, all of you, thank you for tuning in. Pete, Rachel, who practically attends everything we do. Thank you, Rachel, Roxanne, and so on. But if you have a question, if there's something that you just have to have answered, like right now, Roy's still here. We're still here. We have a minute left. Let us know if you want to chat, if you want to say thanks, thank you. We were, it wouldn't work without your involvement as well. So I think the content was good, Terry. I think we put on a great event. But at the end, the whole theme of this was fall in love, both because of the season of fall, but falling in love with the DTG printing. And I just can't tell you. I mean, I was just completely re-energized with DTF printing, seeing this I mean, look at that. Are you telling me that now I can do koozies and can wraps? And yeah, that's pretty much what we just told you, right, Terry?
Exactly, Jay. And many of our customers are just using their DTG printers all day, every day, but some aren't. And I think that DTF might breathe a little bit of life back into their love for the concept of DTG printing. And I am super excited about DTF. And I think that the first trade show we do, which will be Long Beach in January, I think you're going to see a lot of DTF, and I think that you're going to want to come by the Equipment Zone booth and see some really cool things that we're going to be doing in the booth live.
Look at that. I mean, look at that white. Look at the color. I mean, that's not plastisol ink, ladies and gentlemen. That is the same DTG ink that comes out of your Epson F2100 or F3070, and I heat applied this myself. I'm pretty impressive, heat press job there, Terry.
Jay, and I was when I first heard about DTF and we first started experimenting with it months and months ago. I was our typical customer. I said, "But how does it wash?" It washes beautifully.
Yeah, it did. In fact, it almost looked a little better after I washed it. Like there was just a tiny bit of a shine to it. Maybe that was from the heat press. I'm not sure, but I washed it twice and dried it on cool. And it came out great. It's still got a little bit of a stretch to it, so it's not rigid or stiff, or it doesn't feel brittle. You can feel it. Listen, we used to make fun of transfers, right? We were all, as screen printers, we were trying to get the least amount of ink down with the most amount of coverage so that it would feel like it was barely there. And then we moved into water-based inks, which were like, and pigment dyeing and all of these other things. And so, we recognize what the market wants, but at the same time, it solves so many solutions. And sometimes you're not wearing it. I don't feel that on my head. I don't know what that feels like, right? So does it matter that it's a transfer? Not really. What about a backpack? What about a tote bag, right? So many applications. I'm really excited for this technology. Well,
Jay, for obvious reasons, I'm a hat guy too, and that's where I see DTF, man. I'm super excited about that, and we have a hat press upstairs ready to start doing some DTF prints.
I love it. Well, let's say goodbye to everybody. I'm going to flash up my screen one last time, and then we'll say goodbye and stop recording. But by the way, still one of my most favorite projects we've done. If you haven't seen these are possible. It takes a little extra work, but you can print sneakers, low tops and high tops. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go back to that YouTube channel, go to equipmentzone.com on YouTube, and if there's 60, there's 100 by now of interviews and training and deep dives and overviews and tutorials, etc. So that's a credit to the team. And I want to make sure that everybody knows, if you need specific answers or you're ready to start talking about the sales process, of course, we are in business too, folks, and we hope we've earned your trust, and so that you can reach out to Terry or Jeff or Amy. And I know that Roy was kind enough to pop all that info into the chat as well. So thank you, Roy. And that's our Equipment Zone website. And that's our event for the day. Terry Combs, falling in love with DTG printing, one person at a time, brought to you from Equipment Zone in New Jersey and in Tempe, Arizona. That's about all the gas I have in my tank. So I'm going to turn this thing off. I'll give you the final word, my friend.
Thanks, everybody. It was a lot of fun, and hopefully you learned a little something. And we love to share with all of you. And Jay, thank you. And I'll be seeing you very, very soon.
We'll see you soon. Goodbye.